Welcome, everybody, to the very first and only first episode of the VIBECAST.
That's right. Never before done. Never once.
Before done. Not rebooted.
Once.
This is VIBECAST Part 1, baby. By the
Forget
way,
those other ones.
Forget all that other shit. All of those, 2 episodes we did where we interviewed creators? Fuck them.
Those were dreams. Those were flashbacks.
I hear both of them are putting out new videos soon. One of them already did put out a video. I guess it's great content, but you're not here for great content. You're here for us.
They're doing great, by the way.
Our great content is separate from this. This is our shit show.
Yes, this is our nightmare.
I just realized.
What?
It's the podcast doc.
Where's the what?
The podcast doc. Okay, no, I have it. It's
right there. I linked it to you. I linked it to you. I sent you a link. I said, here
what? Imagine my surprise. I scroll through this podcast doc, and whatever ongoing forming dyslexia I have reads this thing GC typed called Zelda Blowout Job, and I just see Zelda Blowjob.
Don't you like my naming schemes? Got you there, right?
I mean, it could be a Midna one.
I should write headlines.
You hear that, Midna in the Twilight Princess manga, like adult Midna and Link are an item, and they make out in the last volume.
Sick.
That's so smart.
Yeah,
they got cracked when they made adult Midna. I don't care for Goblin Midna. She's like, fine, whatever. Adult Midna,
I'm all about it.
All about
folks.
It.
Did you know that today I had to find our podcast document, even though it's a document Cullen created?
In my defense,
Cullen couldn't find it.
In my defense, I wasn't looking.
That is true. You were busy frothing that coffee you're drinking.
Speaking of coffee, GC, what are you drinking today?
Well, I was drinking a black coffee, but I finished it while we were setting up. So now I'm drinking a soda and some water.
What soda?
I bought a 40-ounce water bottle a couple weeks ago, and it finally got in here. So I've been drinking out of it.
I'm trying to get a fancy bottle.
Get it? This is the Linus Tech Tips water bottle. It's really nice. The water's been cold for over 24 hours.
Oh, hell yeah. But wouldn't the water still be bad because it's just sitting out?
No.
Oh, okay.
It's water.
You tell me that you never leave a water on your nightstand and then you go to drink it a day later.
This is insulated.
The temperature? Okay, so that's what does
it.
I was like, is it the temperature that will make it fresh? I don't know. Anyway,
yeah, it keeps it fine because it's not like a plastic water bottle.
Chat, and I'm saying chat because for any of our YouTube viewers that these are streamed live, how do we sound? If you're watching on YouTube, you can answer anyway. Give us that engagement.
You can never skip the LTT sponsor segment. LTTstore.com.
No, we can sponsor.
You're welcome, Linus.
I will say though, okay, JC, what are your dream sponsorships?
My dream sponsorships, no lie.
Yeah.
No lie, my dream sponsorships. Do you mean for the podcast, or do you mean for
I'd say all-encompassing channel, podcast, whatever.
Just anything. Real shit.
Okay.
Real shit.
Yep.
Real shit. I would take a sponsorship from Linus Tech Tips because at this point, his company, their media group is big enough that they could actually do sponsorships for themselves.
That seems
they can actually sell sponsorships.
I'm imagining
it's crazy.
Though, yeah, but I'm imagining the sponsorship offer isn't for the website. It's just all right, so imagine it plays out like a normal ad read on a video where you're doing the live action segment. It's every day that I get hungry, I love watching Linus videos.
No. They have merchandise now. I know. And it's but it's real shit merchandise too.
But the sponsorship is to just say, watch these videos.
Yeah.
Go to the channel.
No. I would love to do that only because I've been watching a lot of their videos lately, and I did not know that they were as good as they were. I'm a big tech geek. People don't know that. I don't talk about it.
Yeah, that cringe crypto shit, but besides that...
Well, the weird thing is like he has like the cringe crypto shit, but like people in his company don't like crypto.
That's
So it's like a
weird.
weird thing where it's like they're not. What I like about them is that they don't like fall in line with everything one person thinks. Like
Ain't
there's
that the
like a
dream
really
though?
broad
Hating your boss. That's the
thing.
American
Yes,
dream.
of course. It's great. It's
I don't
great.
follow that dream. I love my bosses, several. I have
But yeah, I would
many
do that.
employments.
Maybe a G Fuel sponsorship. I actually would because I'm a big energy drink person. So I'd probably like I'd try G Fuel, and I have friends that drink G Fuel for realsies and they like
Yeah.
it. So I'm like, okay, I'd probably
Have
do
you ever
that. I'd do
had
a Red Bull sponsorship
C4
in a
energy?
heartbeat. Uh the reason I haven't had that is because that's for like workouts.
Still good though.
Okay, but if you have that and then don't like do exercise, you're gonna be like, Tyler One?
Yeah.
That's the Tyler One juice.
Okay, but that's also me. I think that says a lot about me though, because I would drink those around like throughout the year and just be like, I feel a bit energized. I
You're
feel kind
insane.
of I feel like I have a bit of like I had a friend, a coworker, like okay, so I went to Target. We have a Target next to my work. I just walk there sometimes,
Sure.
like to get stuff. And like they made a smaller can of it, so I got one for one of my the guy who sits next to me because he likes energy
Okay.
drinks a lot.
Like a
And I
personal
handed
use.
it to him. I was like, I love these things. They're great. And he like. He drinks. He's like, oh, it's pretty good. Like 30 minutes passes, and like he's like walking all around, and he was like, dude, what's in that? I don't know what's in that, man. What is in that? I'm freaking out, and
Creatine. That's
I'm
what's in
just
it.
and I've like downed mine and was like, oh, I guess it's fine. I think I have a brain problem.
It's creatine. It's a pre-workout thing. They started putting it in energy drinks to like get rid of the sugar aspect of it.
That's smart though. It
It's
makes them
smart.
healthier.
It's smart, but also holy shit. Your heart rate goes up.
You gave him crack.
You
Not that
gave him
time.
you gave him workout crack.
Especially
You,
for context, I work at a software company.
yeah, it's not like
So he's
no
just
one's doing it. He's just sitting on his fucking desk and he's
like, oh,
that's why I call it the Tyler One juice, because Tyler One drinks it right
it's
before
really good. You gotta
he'll
try
drink it
it.
before a stream because he's gonna go work out and you got to drink it before a certain time, right? And he'll just
GC, for what donation goal
freaking the fuck out.
will it take for you to like down like 2 of those before a stream?
I'll down one
For how much money?
free.
Free? Oh, then do it.
I go to the gym, so it's like, yeah, I could do it.
Any other
Yeah.
sponsorships?
G Fuel, Red Bull. I don't think they would sponsor me, but there's this like service that I keep seeing on like I've been seeing a lot of oh my god, how do you pronounce her name? Simone Geitz?
I don't know who that is.
Geists. She's the lady that invents the silly things.
Like wacky crafts.
So she made the robot that slaps her to wake her up every morning.
I have not seen this.
Oh my god, she's on YouTube. She's super funny.
Link it to me after the
Yeah, so so like they sponsor her and stuff, and it's called Kimiko or Kiwiko, and it's a service that sends out little like invention puzzles to kids
that's
so that they
cute.
learn how to build stuff and how like physics works and stuff like
Very
that.
on brand.
And I love stuff like that. So like I would probably like I would love a sponsorship from that. Do I fit their like demographic? Probably not. But I love that kind of stuff. And then I guess like I don't know. As far as like cool sponsorships, I don't know. Like I would probably take most of them as long as they paid me well.
As long as they weren't like absolute garbage companies.
Yeah, and like for ethical reasons I won't do mobile games.
Yeah, dude, I almost got caught up in an Artisan Builds partnership. Not a sponsorship, but like one of those things where it's like, oh,
Affiliate links.
yeah, I almost got caught up in one of those, and I waited on it because I was lazy. And then like a week later, that company went up in fire. Do you remember that?
Oh, these are the fucking guys. These are oh my god, these are the guys with the fucking building the PC shit.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Oh, you dodged a fucking bullet, dog.
I really did.
Holy shit.
That's the closest I've ever gotten. I got a raid sponsorship once. I did not go through with it because they did not give me free creative control because I wanted to make my own like cringy raid ad.
Yeah.
Like everyone was doing, and all the money wasn't great. Granted, it was more than I had at the time, so
keep in mind that the other thing about those raid sponsorships is that they don't pay consistently. They pay whatever they can get away with paying you, and that's true for most sponsorships as well. There's actually I'm in a creator Discord that what we're starting to compile is a list of like sponsors that people have taken and how much they've offered.
Oh, that's smart.
And the size of the channel so that people can compare. It's like, well, you gave this person this much and this and this and this and that.
I feel like that info should almost be like public. Not saying that you guys are obligated to publicize that, but like, because also it's like a gray area because, you know,
people should be allowed to disclose how much they were paid for a sponsorship.
Yep.
And that would probably be part of my contract is I would flat out tell people in a video, I would go, they paid this much for this sponsorship. And I would just say
it. Dream sponsorships for me, see, you had all these like really fun and creative ones. I'm boring. I'd be like, okay, HelloFresh in an instant. Oh my god. Oh my god. Most of those food ones, yes.
Yes. Like in a heartbeat, correct.
If you send me like the stuff to cook as well or give me a discount, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah. I love cooking now. I'll talk about this in some segment of this. I've been big into cooking. I've been so into cooking lately.
Fuck yeah.
Like, cause I was trying to like switch up my diet a bit, just to, like have more stuff, and I've been switching to a lot more vegetables and pretty much everything. So I'm cooking way more. Tofu is great. I'll go into the tofu spiel. I've gotten like 4 people on tofu since I started getting like talking about tofu.
Tofu, good tofu. It fucks. It fucks so hard.
Maybe the tofu segment will be now. So
do you use are you like switching up like the texture of the tofu? Like are you using like silky tofu for some things and then more like chunky ones for the other ones?
I've only been cooking it one way. I use extra firm because that's like the best way to like make sure it is the least amount of like moisture in it. You're supposed to press it for like 30 minutes to get all the moisture out if you're going to be like sauteing it, which is what I do. It cooks a lot better if it's as dry as possible. So what I'll do is I have it pressed down, and then I oil the pan. I toss it in there, do it until it's golden brown, and then I make the sauce that is like almond butter, chilies, soy sauce, garlic. What else do I do? It's like a lot of stuff. Sesame oil. Sometimes I'll put a bit of gochujang in there.
I mean, that's the shit right there.
Oh yeah. So I'll do all that. And then you just pour it in there and you like stir it up together. And then I wait until it's all perfectly covered, let it cook for maybe about 30 seconds to a minute. And then I'll toss in some vegetables, get a stir fry going, get the vegetables coated with some of that sauce that's left over. And if you have rice, even better. As a replacement to rice, I've been doing cauliflower rice.
Ooh.
It's real good.
Cauliflower. Have you ever made like cauliflower like chicken wings?
No, I've gotten bags of those at the grocery store and air fried them. Those are pretty good.
You can make them from scratch at home.
Ooh, I should look into that.
They fuck.
Time to drop the Cullen cookbook. I can't because that would be plagiarism.
Cullen would just have to like.
I'd Google all the recipes.
Hey, that's the great thing about learning how to cook is realizing that there's like 3 steps to cooking, right? It's becoming comfortable with actually cooking, right? With the actual like process of like, oh, I have to like cut this, I have to use a pan and an oven and a stove, right? Once you get comfortable with that and you realize, oh, this is bullshit. The second step is I have to look up recipes and okay, now you got to learn how to follow the recipes. And the
Yeah.
third step is follow
Wing
the
it.
recipes and then going, no, that's dumb. I'm not
Yeah.
doing that.
Yeah. When you reach the wing it part, it's the best.
Yeah, you start experimenting, or like you've done enough versions of the same dish with different recipes that you go, I liked this thing from here, and I liked this thing from this one, so I'm going to do this together.
My girlfriend has been finding recipes on Instagram, and then she'll send me them. It's like, hey, we should cook this, and I'm like, absolutely, dude.
Let's do it.
Our latest one that we've done, it's become I fell in love with it immediately. And I have not stopped cooking. Like it's a weekly thing now. It is air fried eggplant.
Ooh.
With this like Korean inspired sauce. I don't want to say Korean sauce because I'm pretty sure it was an ASMR white girl on the Instagram video. So I don't want to Look, say what you want about those white girls can cook. Those white girls cook, all right? They can appropriate a dish.
Those white girls are appropriating some poor Korean woman's TikTok.
They might be doing that appropriating, but
plagiarism may be occurring.
Damn, she can cook. That shit bangs.
Sure.
No, it's like you click all of these, and they're all the same. It's like, hey guys, so I'm trying to get a bit healthier nowadays. So we're gonna
trying new things from different cultures because they eat healthier than we do in America.
No, they don't mention that. It's literally like, so I figured I invented this dish, and so what you're in, like they whisper the entire time. They get all up in that microphone, and they're just like they speed up the recipe really fast. But you know what? I learned thing. I cook good. But like the sauce on that one is like also crazy good. It's got like honey, soy sauce. It's got sesame oil again. A lot of sauces have soy sauce and sesame oil. Keep soy sauce in your fridge.
If you're gonna make anything, and Asians, please correct me if I'm wrong, but if you're gonna be making, a lot of Asian dishes use sesame oil and soy sauce.
It's like in all
just
the
kind
sauces.
of a thing.
Especially
sesame oil. Sometimes the soy sauce is opted out, but the sesame oil is like
you need that sesame oil. It's so good. But this one had like garlic, sesame seeds sprinkled in that, like in the sauce, and like red pepper. Oh, and then you add like a little bit of water to it to like dilute it just a little bit.
I sent you a link. This is the lady that my roommates and I would watch.
Ooh.
She breaks it down and she shows you like how to do stuff, like all kinds of things. And I think this is the same lady who has like this ancient, she's like been like marinating this brine, this pickle brine. She's been pickling things in it for years. Like years.
It's like everything bagel seasoning and white people. I don't use
First of all,
but I love me some everything bagel.
First of all, do not let white people appropriate everything bagel seasoning. That is the Jewish people who did you that favor, white people. That's a Jewish thing. Okay? All right.
I didn't know that.
Jewish people are like the experts on bagels. They're the reason, you know, the whole reason the Jewish people, like Jewish diaspora in the States, like sell bagels, why bagels are like a Jewish owned business a lot of the time. It's because they weren't allowed, like back in the day, they weren't allowed to have food businesses that did certain things with food. And I think mainly it was like bread, and the way they got around it was boiling the bread, and they invented the fucking bagel. That is their thing.
I did not know this.
Yeah. They were barred from like selling food that was prepared in thousands of different ways because racism.
Do you want to know something I just noticed?
What?
Because you made me think. I was like, I wonder about Dunkin' Donuts. No, Dunkin' Donuts was founded by a Jewish German immigrant.
There you go.
Very cool. We're learning a lot of things today. We haven't even talked about nerd shit.
I know. Isn't it great?
It's
Isn't it great that we can talk about stuff like interesting shit that isn't just about video games?
Anyway,
Isn't
so
it
about
great?
video games.
So anyway, about video games.
Where do you want to start?
Let's talk about.
You want to talk about the Nintendo Direct hype cycle? This is such a
let's
nothing
talk about
story.
that.
This is a nothing story.
But it can lead into a much more special conversation.
Which is why we like to do these. So I'm not even going to say who said what. Because this story is pretty much someone said something. Citation, I made it up. I heard, or like source.
Trust me, bro.
Guy, trust me, bro. Someone told me this. Basically, there's a rumor going around that a Nintendo Direct is dropping. I almost said this month. It's 31st, which means it's kind of this month-ish. We're pretty much in September. September 12th is going to be a Nintendo Direct, and it's supposed to be a Zelda blowout.
A date. They gave a date and everything, huh?
I have heard the 12th.
Okay.
Or around the 12th. But that's the thing about these rumors, where these rumors are like, oh,
they don't have like a specific date.
Yeah, it's like, maybe on
sometime this week, maybe.
So the rumor, I think, is pretty much just saying, hey, we got all these, like, it's going to be Zelda themed. I've heard that there might be Metroid there as well, like the Metroid Prime remaster. Which, okay. Like, yeah. Okay.
I guess what gives this some credit, and take this with a grain of salt, is that it came, the report is someone told someone at an actual, like, popular publication.
Yeah.
Publication.
And, brought up in chat is a good point. It's like, there's been I think it's like a direct on this 12th of September for years. We're not like, there will probably most likely be a direct in September. But it's more about this kind of thing. Like, specifically what jumped out to me about this one was that the thing they led with is, rumor has it that Wind Waker and Twilight Princess are getting ported to Switch. And that's not unreasonable. But no. It's like, we've heard this before. It's the trust me, dude, Nintendo Direct. That's why the focus was on, like we were talking about, on Directs, the hype cycle around them, and the rumors.
So interestingly, we fall on opposite sides of this specific rumor.
Do you think it's going to happen? So
we'll get into the Nintendo Direct hype cycle, because we should talk about the Nintendo Direct hype cycle. But I will say, so we talked about a little bit off the podcast, and you were saying it's too soon for them to talk about Breath of the Wild 2 stuff.
Oh, and that part.
Yeah. And my thing is, like, if this is reportedly a Zelda blowout job,
they're gonna have someone.
You would have a big thing about Breath of the Wild 2, and then afterwards you would go, and while you're waiting, and then they would like announce the remasters of whatever, right? So like, I feel like that makes sense, because when's Breath of the Wild 2 coming out? Sometime in 2023?
2023. I think it was early 2023.
Yeah, I think it was like, we're moving it to summer.
I think it was spring.
Probably spring. I think in my heart of hearts, I'm thinking it's probably going to take until summer, but
No, I think it is just 2023.
Okay.
No.
I think at some point
it is spring.
Okay.
It is spring.
So like in my head, I'm like 4 months out seems like the right amount of time for Nintendo to like release information about a big name game coming out. But at the same time, it's like, saying there's a Nintendo Direct at this time feels like it's sort of like it's something that's either like no duh.
Yeah.
But I also don't know if like I also want to like go into the hype cycle thing, because what seems to end up happening every time a Nintendo Direct gets announced or is rumored to happen is that sometimes they're right. I would say like 50% of the time they're right about it, right? And then it comes out, and then like it's either nothing about what they said the Direct was going to be, or it's exactly what they said the Direct is going to be,
and then
people are
like,
upset.
Oh, bummed. I'm bummed this got leaked. See, on Nintendo's side, in the last couple years, they have done an incredibly good job saying like, hey, set your expectations to this. If they know something will not be there, they will say, this is not going to be here. Where people get mad is the rumor mill that happens.
Yeah.
Everybody's like all fucking pissed because they're like, oh, I can't believe that you said you promised this and you didn't deliver. What the hell? And it's like, that's never really been like, say
I'm
what you want about
convinced-
Nintendo, and you can say a lot about Nintendo, but it's just this dumb, like, I don't know. The rumors are just,
I'm convinced at this point that people are following Nintendo parody accounts that some of them are fucking convincing if you're not fucking paying attention. And if you're like on the bus, you're walking somewhere and you're just like flipping through, sometimes like you'll see, one of those parody accounts and it's convincing, and it'll be like, some of them are like outrageous and you don't believe anything they say, but they don't want you to. And then some of them are like, hi, we're going to be having a Nintendo Direct on this day. And if you're not like completely focused on what you're browsing through on Twitter, you will go, oh, there's a Nintendo Direct about Mother 3 on September 18th. And then it happens and you're like, what the fuck?
The funniest version of that is when someone will go back to an earlier year's Direct announcement on Twitter and then retweet
And
it.
repost it. Yeah.
And just
So
because
good.
they don't say, they typically, maybe they do it now, but like on the Direct tweets,
They don't do the year.
They don't do the year. So like someone will say like, oh, September 12th, join us for a Nintendo Direct. And if they're vague enough, you can get a bunch of people really excited for a second. And then they go, oh.
Yeah. Or in the event, sometimes it doesn't happen for like 2 days and someone goes, hey, this was posted a year ago. I love it. Personally, I think it's a fun game.
It is.
I think it's a fun game. I want to know, like, at this point, you should have like, what do they do? You should take bets. You should take bets on what the Direct is actually about. If you're
Like
the
a
kind of
bingo
person that
card,
actually
per se.
cares like that. Yeah. Like a bingo card. Do a bingo card. But like, I don't know. I feel like we go through this hype cycle, and I feel like we're Nintendo is a company that's so large at this point that it doesn't matter if they say exactly what the Direct's about. Nintendo is such a large like company that people don't need to follow Nintendo to get Nintendo news,
Yeah.
right? And what ends up happening is you get a game of telephone where it's like Nintendo makes a post about a thing, and then a news site will post a thing, and then a person will retweet that thing with like their own like take on it.
Yep. And then
Then somebody will repost it as though it's a fact.
And then the typically like the headline will like be its own kind of different thing, and that'll skew it even more.
Mm-hmm. And I think that's what ends up happening. And I think that's why suddenly after every Direct, no matter what happens, someone's like, they're talking about Donkey Kong on this fucking indie game Direct. What the fuck? And then they punch a hole in their wall.
Yeah.
I also don't understand the hype cycle like reaction. I've never understood being upset that something doesn't get announced. Does that make sense? I've been confused about it, but I've never been upset about it. Like I've never been like angry about it. I've been like, but why?
For me, it really just, it depends. It's like an optics thing where it's like, how did you present this information? Did I waste my time by doing this? What was that show we did? Like, was it, we did E3, right? Or the fake?
We did
E3?
the PC gaming conference.
No.
And Sega said they were going to be, sorry, this is not the same one.
No, it's the same event, but like that first day we did where I took time off, like I took a half day just to do it. And
I think it was the Xbox conference that everyone hated except me.
No. We liked the Xbox conference.
Okay,
the Xbox conference was good. It was I think it was the
one right after?
It was the opening day, the very first show.
What was it?
It was like, I think Jeff
remember.
Keighley did it.
No, because Jeff was like hosting the overall.
But like I'm pretty sure it was the opening day. I
think you're right. Yeah. I think you're right because afterwards we kind of like only tuned in specifically to stuff I think it was the PC gaming conference.
No, that also sucked though. I was quite mad that I wasted my time on that, but it was in particular, I don't think Bethesda did anything. Bethesda was part of Xbox.
Bethesda was doing Starfield stuff, and I remember I was like studying it intently and interested. And then
Was
everyone
E3
else on
even a
Twitter was like,
thing?
"This is bullshit."
Wait.
E3, remember, E3 was not officially a thing, but somebody still made the E3 schedule.
It was okay. Wait, it was
The guy that makes the E3 schedule every year and posts it on the internet for everyone's convenience. He still did one because it's essentially E3 without the show floor.
okay. Wait, hold on. It was the Summer Game Fest.
Summer Game Fest. That's right. We all had the backgrounds.
Yep.
That's right.
We were really excited, and it ended up being nothing, and it was really bad. But
yeah,
like, and I was mad because I wasted my time. And
but your example about optics, there's a better example for that, and it's the one I was saying, where Sega said they were gonna have something important to show off at the PC gaming conference, and all they did was do 2 Point Campus.
Yep. Nope, that was.
And it was like an official Sega announcement. It was like, we have big news. Please tune in. And then it was their 2 Point Hospital sequel, which everyone already knew was coming out, and it was just recycled trailers.
I think I remember an even better one where if I saw this tweet earlier today that reminded me. Remember when Square Enix had a stream where they were going to announce big news for Final Fantasy 15?
Oh my god!
And the big news was that all DLC was being canceled for Final Fantasy 15.
Oh my god! Please be excited. We are no longer making FF15 content, and also Tabata is leaving.
I'm pretty excited for that.
Yay! Big E3 news! Be excited! I cannot believe that. No, but that's exactly it, right? Like that's like when it's bad, right? When it's ambiguous and vague, and it allows people to speculate as opposed to just telling people what they could look forward to at this direct, you know? And I think Nintendo's kind of caught on to that. Nobody else has. Well, Jeff Keighley kind of has. Kind of. Jeff Keighley just thinks the things he's excited about, everyone's excited about. Speaking of game conferences.
I don't even remember when Atlas went on the New Game Plus Expo, and then everyone got hyped about that. And here's the thing. This is the unfortunate, just banner statement about NGP Expo. Never expect anything. I think people have caught on by now.
Yeah.
Do not expect good announcement. Again, no shade to the people who run it. I respect that it's the hustle. They get what they can get. There have been some good announcements on there, like East 9 got announced for that.
It is hard to get exclusives for your gaming show.
Very hard, especially if you
it's
are
hard to do it. Little guy.
If you're a little guy,
guy.
I get it, but also everyone, that got me once. The first time I was like, I'm so fucking hype. Never again. I go in, I watch them because they're funny, and I go, that was a poorly handled announcement. That's an Atome game. That's an Atome game. That's an Atome game. That's an Atome game.
Do you like visual novels?
And it's like,
this is for you.
Because honestly, the Atome games they put out are mid. I like Atome games. Oh, I forgot to add something to the docket. If you haven't,
I wanted to add a pregnant pause to the statement. I like Atome games.
What's wrong with that?
What's wrong with Atome games? Nothing's wrong with it.
Being a bit homophobic, GC.
No, I'm not being homophobic. I just don't like visual novels. So,
GC's like, I don't know.
I don't like
games where you date men. And
I don't like
playing. I don't know.
I do not necessarily enjoy interactive reading. That's my thing. That's my thing.
I don't enjoy non-interactive reading.
Or rather like video game book, kind of like kinetic novel, whatever you want to call it. Like,
see, for me though, with VNs, and I guess it's a different difference in taste, so it's not like I'm selling you. I just like I can't read books. I just can't get into them. What I like is the artistry that goes in to VNs, where it is like sound, and some VNs are They don't do it for me.
There's a lot of work that goes into the really good ones. Not going to take
Yes.
that away from them. And the fact that visual novels get people to read, I'm all for it. Super respect it.
The
Love it.
introduction of choice, sound design, visuals, all these little like things they could do that introduces a lot of like variety into them and keeps me entertained. That's that stuff that why I keep coming back to VNs, because there's a lot of stuff you can do in that medium that in a lot of ways you
can't do in traditional reading.
You definitely can't do in traditional reading. And sometimes with the focus on story, you can take more risks in terms of your narrative when you're not having to always do crazy gameplay things to keep the reader or player entertained.
And on top of that, there's a lot of work that goes into. No one laugh at me. Do not fucking clip this and take me out of context. You don't have to worry as much about ludonarrative dissonance.
What do you mean?
Well, when you create mechanics for your visual novel, right? Because there's a heavier focus on story, your mechanics, you don't have to like worry too much.
Yep.
You can focus more on the story and you can put more emphasis on it, and you can take your story places that you necessarily can't do with other video games because because those video games, their story and their gameplay have to play better together.
It's really
Whereas
funny.
with visual novels, the story is your gameplay. Like your choices influence the story and their text. It's text adventure. So it's like it's a little more freeform like that.
It's really funny that a lot of ways that adventure games and visual novels, the way they establish choice has been kind of copied by a lot of the game industry. And in those ways, it does not work as well most of the time. Like say what you want. Like, you don't have to like VNs, but a lot of people say they're not games. And I think that is just that is a gross simplification when it's like a lot of the modern video game industry, they pulled so much from the VNs that were popular and worked.
I actually have a great I used to think that way. I actually have a great story about that. I have a friend. He's great. He's the reason I have a YouTube channel, or one of the friends that is the reason I have a YouTube channel. And he said, okay. And he pulled out a book, right? And it was Don Quixote. And he said, this is a book, right? I said, yeah. You read it. It's got a story in it, right? That's a book, right?
Yeah.
And I went, yeah. And then he went, is this a book? And he held up a reference book for like something. And I went, fuck you. He said, it's a book, right? You read it. It's got stuff in it. You learn from it.
Yeah.
Right? Don Quixote is a book. This is a book. And then he goes, all right, video games. And then he held up a visual novel. Another thing, he goes, both games.
Yeah.
Different factors.
Like, it's like, say what you want about like, oh, visual novels can't cost this or whatever. That's not the point. It's that like fucking why did like, first of all, you buy them at the video game store. I can go and buy Steins Gate Elite at GameStop. It is a game. But if we go a step further, why does it fucking matter? Just don't play them if you don't like them.
It's sort of this idea where it's like, and I'll explain it because in hindsight I see it.
Yeah.
I didn't want to call them games because in my head I was like, I play video games. And if there's a video game that I don't want to play or that doesn't make sense to me to be a video game, then it can't be a video game because then I wouldn't be playing video games. It's sort of like this weird gatekeeping thing of like, I don't want my experience is unique, but also has to be shared by other people. Right? So I don't want to call visual novels games because I don't want somebody else's experience to qualify as playing a video game.
It's also a bit of self-gatekeeping as well.
Yes.
It's like you have to justify why you're not playing the thing or you do not like the thing. And it's like, there's a lot of like genres of games I don't like. Fucking Madden is a game. Like, just because it has like, even if they've stripped back gameplay elements, like most sports games, they're still games. Yeah. Even if they're now spent all on like loot boxes or whatever. Like fucking mobile games are unfortunately still games, but they're still games.
And unfortunately, slot machines are games.
They are games. Modern
When you
slot
hear people
machine-
talk about the gaming sector, they're not talking about video games. They're talking about gambling.
But like most modern gambling machines are video games.
Yeah.
It's like video games are a medium in which to convey I will say creative intent. That intent could just be I want to get money out of them.
Not every intent is you know,
good.
what one would consider morally just.
And I also don't really like it's like the idea that they're not games. It's like all visual novels for a lot of developers, especially now indie developers. It's like it is a way for lower budget studios to have high budget ambition and ideas without having to like, you know, and it's like, I'm sure if those studios had the money, they would, but like, that's not how capitalism works. But it's also really nice to see like studios with higher production value and budgets be able to make higher budget visual novels, because then it becomes like, it can be a choice based off limitations, but it could just be a creative choice. You fucking look at the Tsukihime remake. That's like probably the highest budget VN I've ever fucking seen. Sold 100,000 copies on launch. And it's like, it's a big budget VN. It's just, I don't know. I don't get.
Cool thing about visual novels now growing in like popularity and like having a sustainable like existence nowadays is that like some of the like there are visual novels I will play because they play around with like what they can do as far as the game mechanic goes. Like there's a lot of people who make visual novels and go, yeah, but I want to implement more gameplay elements into it.
Yeah.
So like there's that imposter visual novel game with like the stats and shit, and it's
Nausea.
a whole
Fuck yeah.
Like that's a great example of like this is what you can actually do with a visual novel format, and that's a game. Like it's a game.
Nausea is cool because it like a lot of VNs like a lot of modern VNs are trying to set themselves apart by like, how can we mix up the formula? Nausea is a cool approach to it because it is like, okay, our version of this is we're going to get into the systems and numbers.
Yeah.
Like we're going to get deep into the RPG parts. I just wish more of them had English dubs. I do too. That is unfortunately budget. As big as VNs are, they are getting more popular. It is like not a lot of people buy them. Like a lot of people forget, like VN fans in particular do forget that like most
I will say if you make visual novels and you're not going to see this and you're from Japan or any other place that's not English, do not use machine translation for your visual novel.
Of course not. Of course
please
not.
Please I get it costs money to localize shit. Spend the money to localize it. Like holy shit, machine translation just ruins the potential of that game gaining popularity. People like I've played a visual novel with machine translation. I'm like, no, there's no way.
Nope. It'll never
You have no idea what the fuck's happening.
Yep. But like the thing is, as much as we like to be in our little bubbles and we like to say like, oh, well, everybody I know is playing this new VN. It's like, okay, but realistically, unless you are a big publisher, like Spike Chunsoft is able to get away with it. Because that's what they specialize in. Like,
and they're like a legacy studio too. They've been around for forever.
Yes. And even Spike Chunsoft isn't always banging out hits. Like, both iGames have full voice acting, English and Japanese, but that's because they know most of their sales are in America. So that's why they put that money into the dub, because that sells. A lot of studios cannot take that risk.
The reality is that if you have the money to localize a visual novel with voice acting and everything else, you're going to sell well in America because there aren't that many in English. So also think of like the amount of visual novels that have to come out in Japan on a weekly basis. Just think about the amount that they probably have access to, right? Think about the amount that we have access to in the States. That's a fraction of what comes over.
Yes.
And then the fraction that actually gets localized well, that has like the budget to get like a really nice localization, is even smaller. And those are your AI the Somnium Files games. Those are the ones that sell like hotcakes.
And those are it's like, honestly, I is one of the only instances you will see of a visual novel getting an English dub, because it's like they know that the simulation broke somewhere, and Uchikoshi games sell better in the West than Japan. We don't know why, but fuck it. Like, fuck it. But like on the same merit, you have like the science adventure games, which Steins Gate was pretty popular, but that is still a bit of a risk because those games have a lot of voice acting in them. It would cost a lot of money to dub those, and if they had sold well enough to prove that they were worth recouping that risk, they would already be dubbing them.
It also hurts when you do all the work for that and then the game doesn't sell well because people don't like it.
Machine translation only works if you have a team to iron out the issues. I will say no still. No, because here I've talked to a lot of editors. Like I have a lot of localization friends on Twitter. A lot of
in times it can make it even harder to localize.
Because what will happen, the best editing team in the world, if you are dealing with a terrible base translation, it will just make it that it is basically clean shit. You have nice spruced up, like, editors are great. Editors are awesome, but they need something to work with.
You know the phrasing "good sound in, good sound out," with the idea of like audio recordings, where it's like, listen, you can EQ the shit out of like audio as much as you want. If the sound you're putting into it sounds like shit, no amount of things you do in post will make it as good as you want it to be. Same thing with like filming, right?
That's perfect. It's
the idea of like someone saying, "Oh, we'll edit it in post." No, you won't. You have to put good shit in to get good shit out.
Like if I have a $15 microphone, I could do quite a lot to make it sound as good as possible. Like, I buy all the foam.
Well, that's good sound in. But if you don't do any of that and then record on your low quality microphone
what I'm
in an
saying
untreated room, it's gonna sound like poop.
But that's still like the microphone itself is like it's low
like
quality.
If we're talking $15, then yes.
There is only so much you can do. Also, hello, Japanime. Thank you for the sub. Welcome, welcome. There's only so much you can do to treat bad audio. Like, you can try your best, but it's still like you're still gonna have bad audio.
It's gonna yeah, exactly.
And this goes the other way as well, where it's like if you have a decent, like a nice microphone, you don't do any post, you have a bad editor or no editor, it's still bad. Like, it's not going to be good. It's like that kind of like combination.
Yeah, the translators you're used to are used in website use cases where it's like you're looking at very specific things. But also, think about it this way. If they're using machine translation, they probably don't have someone on the team who's fluent in English, which is not a problem. It's not like, oh my God, how embarrassing.
It's not ideal, but it is still like, that's fine when you're talking about art.
But we're talking about context and connotation and stuff like that.
Subtext where
you need to have a structure. It's the same thing if I had a game in English and I was translating it to Japanese. I can't machine translate.
Oh yeah.
A game into Japanese from English. Like, you lose so much context. Words get mistranslated. If you've ever sometimes I have to translate shit from English to Spanish because I don't have the right words to translate it into Spanish when I'm talking to like my grandparents or something. And like, because I know Spanish, I look at the translation and I go, well, that's fucking wrong. And I'm like, that's not right. So like, you need to machine translation. It doesn't really work if it's something you're going to pass off to someone else to fix after you do it. Like, they're going to translate whatever you give them. And if you machine translate it before you give it to them, they're going, like, the entire sentence could mean something completely different. This is why, like, we kind of like in like the manga space, when people do like fan translations, this is why, like, that's what separates good fan translations from bad ones, because bad fan translations will machine translate and then work off of that translation,
or
because
like
they themselves
translate,
or to literally translate, and then you lose like the grammar of the Japanese language, the sentence structure, the connotation of words and what they mean.
that goes into it, which is typically like if you see someone on Twitter saying like, oh, I Google translated this like news thing or this line for that's something that's not translated yet, and this is really a big deal. It's like, take a minute. Maybe they're right, but take a minute.
You have to like, especially when I do research for the Yakuza videos, I'll Google translate a website, but what I'm looking at is not specific sentences so much as like overall tone. Because I could lose a sentence. Like if I see a sentence that doesn't make sense, I don't use it. That doesn't seem like that makes any fucking sense. It's like sometimes you'll read a sentence that contradicts the following one, and it sounds like nonsense. And that's when you know that your machine translator doesn't know what to do with the words that it's been given.
This is also why it's important for sites when they can to grab people who can translate, like news articles, like on Twitter, like Kazuma.
Have a specialist. Yeah, like Kazuma.
Welcome to the Kazuma shoutout hour.
Give Kazuma work. He needs it.
And money.
He needs it, and he's good at his job.
Yes.
He's like really good at his job. Do it. All right. I have to use the bathroom.
Oh.
We went on a tangent.
No, this is podcast material.
It's true. It's true. That is how podcasts work.
I'm going to stay here because we recording. But you go run to the little boy's room real quick.
It'll be taking like 2 seconds.
Go pee-pee. Go pee-pee in the
Be
potty.
right back.
I think we've gotten on like 2 of our news stories out of all the ones we've really gone into. But it's fun. We haven't done the podcast in a bit. Hello, everyone from YouTube. Hope you're all having a great time. Follow us on Twitter or the YouTube account. Hello. If you are watching the VOD of this on the YouTube channel, subscribe. I am out of coffee, which is quite a bummer. After we're done today, I'm going to be writing a video script. I'll talk about at the end of the podcast what video will be coming out very soon. I think I might be buying some shelves. I don't want to spend money this weekend. I gotta buy lamps. I want to get some shelves. You actually can't see because I've framed this quite well. There's like boxes over there that are still like unpacked because I don't have all my shelves. Again, my only shelf is right there. Bit of a bummer. I could see. I said this before we went live. I bought a new webcam for streaming. You probably can't tell. That's money down the drain. I want that Dragon Quest blanket. I want that blanket. I want that.
I'm back.
Blanket. Is that a blanket or a pillow?
Oh, it's the Dragon Quest blanket, but I wrapped it around the pillow as best as I could.
Makes sense.
I tucked it into the actual lounge chair, and then I pulled it behind the pillow as much as I could to like stretch it out.
Fair enough.
Yeah, those are my Zoids. It's my One Piece hat.
Is that an OLED switch?
Yeah.
I'm so jealous. I
forgot to say I bought an OLED.
When did you buy an OLED?
I bought it when I got paid for the building burning down at work.
Fair enough.
The first paycheck I got from that, I bought an OLED.
Dude, I thought like I think we originally were talking about Nintendo when we went off spiraled, but like, dude, I want to talk some frustrations at Nintendo's direction.
Yeah, let's do
I think it is quite ridiculous that if my left Joy-Con on the OLED Switch, that beautiful white Joy-Con breaks, I am told to go fuck myself.
Yeah, it's fucked up.
I want a white Joy-Con. I could buy it on eBay. I could buy 2 pairs of white Joy-Cons on eBay for like $100 from a third-party seller. Why would I do that? Also, every color of Joy-Con on the market right now is garbage. Gray is boring. Not buying gray.
Can you buy the default gray Joy-Cons?
Yes, you can, but they suck.
But no, but that's what I'm saying. You can buy the
boring.
default colors of the other Switch, but you can't buy the default one of the OLED.
Yeah, it's, and like I think I was like really like, okay, so when I finished my latest video, I pulled like almost an all-nighter knowing I was about to have 3 hours of sleep before my next day.
Mm-hmm.
And I was browsing Amazon before I went to bed, and I saw like the Splatoon OLED pack, and I was like, I could just do it. I could just buy a new OLED. And I was like, no, go to bed, Cullen. You're gonna regret
What happened
this.
to your Joy-Con?
Okay, so I was in bed and I dropped it, and it fell off my bed and on, like it hit it hit the ground. The Joy-Con works, but if you push it at all, it shoots out.
Oh, so the pins
It's-
on the
Any
the
amount
thing
of pressure shoots it out.
broke. It might be possible to fix it, but you would fuck up your warranty on that Joy-Con.
I don't even know
Can't
if
you-
I have.
Can you ask Nintendo? Like, can't you just like send it off and then get it back later?
But then I have no Joy-Con to use.
Oh, it would take like a week. You get it back. I think they cover the shipping for it too.
Maybe.
As long as your warranty's like fine. As long as you
Like-
haven't cracked it open.
Yeah, I mean, it
like to
works for
Fuck around
now.
in it.
But really, like, this is just kind of like a larger issue. It's like, why are there no good Joy-Cons on the market right now?
I got a question. Here's a better thing. Why is it so fucking hard to replace Nintendo parts that go bad? Why do they make it so fucking hard?
Because it's a feature, not a bug.
I don't like it. Nintendo does this the most, where it's like a company treats all of their merchandise as though it's collectible
Yeah.
or special. And it's like, no. Listen, you sell toys.
Yeah.
You sell toys. Okay? That's
I
been
wish
your
I didn't
Nintendo
I wish I didn't
specifically.
want to buy the toys so much.
Yeah, I wish I didn't want your fucking toys, but you sell toys.
You sell some pretty
Okay.
good toys.
If the idea of selling toys is that they're going to be collectible, then you don't sell toys. You don't sell toys anymore. You sell trophies.
Dude, have you seen the Splatoon Joy-Cons that are only on the Splatoon OLED?
No.
Look
Are
'em
they
up.
the yellow green ones?
No. Look them up.
Splatoon Joy-Con.
What's crazy about this too is that it's like, okay, so you
OLED.
released a white pair of Joy-Cons only with the OLED. Yeah, they're pretty nice.
They got a gradient.
Yep.
They're like different.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, they got little prints.
Dude, have you seen the Dragon
Oh.
Quest Joy-Cons that came with the special edition Dragon Quest? Dude, you're gonna wish I
Don't
didn't
remind
tell you
me.
about this.
No, I know about it.
Yeah, but like, what's so crazy about like the way Nintendo does it is that, okay, so you have a very nice set of white Joy-Cons. People want them. I get it. Now,
They're
I also
they're
get-
selling it. They're selling it for $1,600.
yep, of course, of course. But like, so you have these like I'm John Business. I get it, as John Business, CEO of Nintendo. I understand that my fan base are kind of
Just say Doug Bowser.
no. I'm John Business.
Doug Bowser.
No, I'm being the businessman who let me fuck you. Shut up. So John Business, I'm like, okay, I know our fans, they're crazy. Some of them are gonna buy a whole new console to get the white Joy-Cons. Put it out, don't sell the Joy-Con separate. Okay, it's been a year since the OLED. The people who would have impulse bought the OLED, like, okay, if they haven't bought it, they're not going to impulse.
At this point, you're losing money not
Yes.
selling the Joy-Cons by themselves.
Exactly. Money
At
on
this
the
point,
table.
you're money. By the way, that's a lot. Like it's like. First of all, let's talk about the fact that the fucking
$80.
price of the Joy-Cons is $80 goddamn dollars, and
that's
I
in
personally
America.
think, yeah, and I personally think that's way too much fucking money.
The Joy-Cons kind of suck.
I don't understand why the HD vibration technology.
That no
How long
one
has this been?
uses.
5 years. It's been out for 5 years. Barely anyone that makes a game on the Switch utilizes it. Why is that technology still that expensive? The cost of making that tech should have dropped by now. In 5 fucking years that nobody's using it and nobody cares about it, and the industry doesn't seem to have reacted to it, it should have been cheaper to make by now. That should have lost value as far as like manufacturing costs, because it's no longer like new tech, right? So your Joy-Con prices should have dropped. It's not even getting to the fact that Nintendo doesn't drop the prices of any of their fucking games when they come out, right? So the Joy-Cons are already a fucking scam. People want to buy the fucking colors that are exclusive to the consoles, and they're not going to buy a new console for them. Like people
if they did not do it, like, by now, you should be like, we're now selling the white Joy-Cons. Because, that, again, money on the table. You're not taking it.
Armchair businessmen seem to think that as long as they keep that an exclusive thing, eventually people will succumb to purchasing the OLED for those things. But here's the problem with that. The people who would buy your OLED, your special OLED, right? The people who would buy an OLED Switch, we get back to like the demographic shrinking, right? Like the people who own a Switch is this big.
Yeah.
The people who would buy a new Switch is this big. The people who would buy an OLED Switch is this big, right? The people who have already bought one is this big. So you have this many people who might buy your OLED Switch.
Like,
your new OLED Switch.
It really sucks that the OLED is such a good console. Like, but it's also like that kind of thing where it's like, this is what the Switch should have launched as. This should have been the Switch on launch.
This is easily the worst. This is easily like, it's a classic like bad business like acumen to think eventually they will buy the more expensive thing if we keep this thing exclusive. And it's like, no, they won't. All you're doing is increasing a scalping market. And like,
and Nintendo loves increasing the scalping market.
But they would sell, they would directly make more money. They would directly make more money if there was more stock to go around, and if they actually limited stock purchases to like one per person, one per household or whatever.
I'm still salty about the fucking Xenoblade limited edition fiasco.
It could also be some whack approximation on the production end. It can't be, because it's happened so often. It happened with Amiibos. It happened with the limited edition 3DSs. It happened with the limited edition Switches.
You just walk
and they're a
in,
joke now because everyone complained about it. Everyone complained about it, and nobody wants them. People scalp the shit out of it, and nobody wants them anymore. They put out new Amiibos, and the only people that want them are collectors. And it's like it happened because you artificially limited the stock at the start. Less people got into the habit of buying them, and then they dropped out of the hobby of collecting them. So you shot yourself in the fucking foot for a short-term profit, when long-term you could have people lining out the door right now for a new fucking Amiibo if you wanted. As long as they had them, you could have midnight releases for Amiibos if you fucking actually like nurtured that fucking concept. Which sucks because the Amiibo concept is actually really good. I've always liked the NFC ideas.
And don't get me started on the fucking 3DS face plates.
Yeah.
Fucking
So like why is the fucking Joy-Con $80 still, right? Besides that fact, like the fact that you don't even sell the limited edition fucking Joy-Con as its own thing is just you're losing profits. And I think you're losing profits because you have a market that's desperately wants to buy really nice Joy-Cons for their Switch, and you're not catering to that market. And people love to accessorize their Switches. Have you seen what people do to their Switches?
Yeah.
People put all kinds of shit on it.
And dude, they've actually decreased the amount of Joy-Cons you can buy now. Like the selection on hand, if you can even find them, is nothing. It's garbage.
It makes no sense unless you're making a new console. But they better not. It'd be the worst idea.
Okay.
Make a better performing Switch.
Yes.
Yeah.
If you are making a Switch, like if you are making another console, it needs to play all of my Switch games. Like that is, or like if it's that, oh, well, we have to change the cartridge or something, make it play all my digital library. Like you need to do something.
Yeah.
because if I like my Switch library is massive. It's huge.
Yeah.
And if all of those, like if most of those games are going to stay in there, like held back by the Switch, like fucking GC Xenoblade 3 is my game of the year.
Cool.
By far.
I gotta finish 1.
Dude, fuck the Switch. Like, when I was playing 3, I was like, even you play Xenoblade 1 and you're like, hey, this looks kind of fuzzy. You feel it.
You feel
and
it.
It's
any
like,
Switch game, you feel it.
Yeah. Splatoon looks pretty good.
I have an M Classic that like rounds out the interlacing on my Switch games, so I don't notice it as bad. But like when I go out into when I would go out into the living room to watch my roommates play a Switch game, like the same one I would be playing, I would be like, oh shit, like I think Three Hopes looks great, and then I go see the TV
really
without the M Classic, and I'm like, oh fuck, it's so much jaggier than on my fucking shit.
When I was playing SMT, like I booted SMT5 up after Soul Hackers because I was like, this was the last SMT. Let me get a refresher on it after I finished the new SMT. And I was like, oh, it runs like shit.
It looks bad. Like, let's be disclaimer. Cullen and I are not FPS snobs.
No,
we're not like.
I'll settle for 30 FPS on most Switch games.
I would play most games in 720 if I had to. I don't care. Like I already do that for Switch. I don't care.
Yeah.
That's not. But like it is a shame when you have a PS5 or even a PS4 or a PC or any other device and you play the games on that device and those games look really good on those devices.
Mm-hmm. But
and then you pick up a Switch game
and it can't even do 720.
It can't even do 720. And it's even worse when you emulate the Switch on your Steam Deck and
dude,
the games look better on the Steam Deck.
Dude, like, okay, I have seen I can't do the little
I can't do it for you. It won't hide your thing.
Hi everybody. If you'd like to break into what's the Go XLR footage, Go XLR device? What's the company that makes that? Halcyon?
Yeah, I think it's Halcyon.
Hi, whatever
HALCY.
Whatever company makes that. If you'd like to send me a free Go XLR Mini, or if anyone wants to go break into a warehouse,
or donate to Cullen so he can buy an XLR Mini.
Not that one. No, shut up. Anyway,
why not?
I don't know. Fuck off.
It's money that goes into upgrading the show.
No, I don't. I already upgraded
That's what
the
it's
show.
For. Okay,
anyway,
well, it never ends.
Anyway, so like, it's really funny. Speaking of SMT5, I've seen Yuzu footage of that game. It is so like, like that game. I don't know how much work it took. I don't know. I'm not gonna say they flipped a switch, but you see how long it took for people to get that game running at 4K 60, and it's like the game could do it. It's the Switch.
It's the frustrating thing about it, and you're right. You're right, Peruser. Like, I do find it a bit unfair to compare the two. And you're right, it is unfair to compare. It just sucks that we're in a situation where that console is the Switch, realistically speaking, is not that old of a console.
Well,
it's a 5-year-old console.
But it was.
But console generations last a lot longer than 5 years.
The problem with the Switch is that when it came out, it was, oh, this is impressive for a little handheld thing. It was because we still had the Vita out when the Switch dropped. We had the 3DS out, and it's like, okay, so we have like these were portable consoles, and this is a portable console. It has been 5 years with no upgrade.
It's also one of those things of like, it's a short lifespan. And even when it was out, even when it recently came out, we would look at this stuff and it's not the fact that, oh, there's nothing else like it but the Steam Deck. It's more of it's more about the fact that it's like the Switch came out as this hybrid console and that's really cool.
Oh yeah.
But over time,
when we saw the limit, like what needed to be taken away from games.
Sometimes you play a game that you wouldn't. Sometimes you play a game on the Switch that you would never play in handheld mode because, like, I would never like. There are certain games on the Switch, like Breath of the Wild, for example, that I wouldn't play on the go because that's a long session game. There's games like Fire Emblem Three Hopes is a long session game where you're more likely to play it at home. And when you're more likely to play it at what?
Well, like, because the idea that you're like undocking isn't just for people who like play things out of the house. It like, and here's the thing. I think Nintendo fucking nailed the idea of a hybrid system. Literally, just make Switch variants for the rest of your existence.
My thing has always been you should find a way to build a dock that gives it a boost. Because I'll take the hit when I play it in handheld mode, but what sucks is when you're the kind of person who plays it docked and you're playing a console
not big enough
game,
of a boost.
You're playing it on a 1080p TV or a 4K TV at this point, a 4K TV, and it doesn't look the best. It's okay that it doesn't look the best, but it's not like I don't notice it. Right? Like I don't mind, but I don't mind as far as like playing the games, but knowing that the games could look better and knowing that like the same game on Switch, if it has a different port on PC or PS4 looks it's a night and day difference, even in some cases performance wise. It's like it's hard to play a game on the Switch knowing you have an alternative that'll run better.
And in most, like it is the further we get away from that 2017 release, the more embarrassing, like the higher the bar is for what they need to hit when they release a new version. Like
it's like I guess it's like a diminishing return, right? It's like as technology gets better for whatever, like usually like the GameCube, the Wii, technology got better, but those games still looked pretty good comparatively to like the consoles they were next to or the consoles that came after them. Whereas the Switch, there's a sharp drop off.
Yep.
There's a way sharper drop off in comparison shots and stuff like that. And again, we get it. It's because it had to sacrifice that to have that hybrid capability. But at this point, there really should be a way to make that look better.
The fact that every modern release, like every modern Nintendo release comes out like it can't, like most times it can't even hit 720p. Like guys, at a certain point, like this is like my webcam got out of focus.
No, you're fine.
No, my webcam got out of focus.
No, you're seeing things. Trust me.
No, my webcam got out of focus.
I'm telling you, you're seeing things. You're fine on my end. Oh, now it got out of focus.
Anyway, so let's continue the podcast.
Okay, well now you can say whatever you want because nobody can recognize you. Do a manual focus. Yeah. I'm
a bit too far away. That's why
you're fine.
Yeah, fuck it. Anyway, it's just like if whatever next Nintendo console we get, guys, I don't want to be like this. If the best thing about your system is you can hit 1080p max, I'm sorry. No. Will I still buy one? Yes. But
I'll take 1080p that upscales to 4K when it's docked.
I'll take it. Like no, that's what I'm saying. Like I want
or can upscale to 4K.
If the dock can get 4K, that's good. Like that's like even if it can't always hit 4K, it's like, guys, we cannot have the lower end of resolutions docked be in like the 500s.
Yeah, that's like because I feel like that's
your
been like
model quality and your texture quality is like up here.
Yeah,
and then your resolution's down here.
Like it's literally the hardware.
Yeah,
like it's literally like if you look at all these games that people have been emulating, like the Switch games look incredible. The stuff people are making for this console are incredible. The console is not able to get that across.
Like I think artistically, Xenoblade 3 is fucking gorgeous, phenomenal. Same with SMT5. And then the Switch has something to say about that.
I think that's been like the one criticism that I've had about the Switch since I got one the year it came out. I've had a Switch. I think I've had a Switch since like
I bought on launch.
when did it come out? April?
2017 April. Yep.
Okay, I got mine in July. So I got mine like pretty close to the launch. And like my complaint since then has always been it feels like a missed opportunity and I would have paid more for it if
Dude, the fact that
like
the OLED,
if the dock like it feels like a missed opportunity that when docked you didn't have an improvement in performance and visual quality.
yeah,
It feels like a missed opportunity for that to not be the case.
Sometimes you do, but it's pretty rare.
I think it has more to do with I think when it happens, it has more to do with how it's utilizing its battery life,
Yep.
or something like that. Because if it's docked, it's not using its battery; it's using the AC, the wall. So
Yeah.
like it performs better, kind of thing. And it's like it was always a head scratcher why you built a hybrid console and then didn't understand that we can do a payoff when you're handheld, but we can also we can improve the quality dock so that there's still like an incentive to dock it.
Yeah.
Like there's an incentive to still play on your TV, and that's how we'll win over the home console crowd while still pleasing the handheld crowd that we have.
Yeah. I
don't know. If there is a Switch 2 in development and everybody and their mother says a Switch 2 is in development every other fucking week, if there is a Switch 2 in development, it needs to play Switch games. I have to be able to use my fucking Joy-Cons on it. Those controllers have to be backwards compatible. It just needs to perform better. Please listen, just put out a fucking dock. Just put out a dock that superpowers it. You don't even have to sell another console. That would be the greatest thing. It's just like, we're not putting out another console. We're selling you a fucking dock. And that's going to be the next 5 years.
Look, even if it's like, okay, we made the portable only Switch, let's get the docked only, like literally just a box. Like fucking, I know every content creator in the world would be like, yes, thank you. Thank you.
Everybody, yeah.
Like I would have one that I keep at here to stream, and then I have one to take with me.
Which is what you probably want, Nintendo, because you sell all these variants and you want the same people who already own the other version of it to buy it. Like that falls perfectly into your hands, and it would have a practical reason this time.
I love the OLED, but I felt such a disappointment when it's like it's the same thing, the screen's just nicer. It's like, guys, this needed to be it.
Now, granted, OLED screens are really cool, and like that's like the new hotness. Or QLED screens are also the new hotness too. But like it's not that big of an incentive for most people.
Yeah. Also, if the second Switch doesn't have an OLED, I'll be like,
yeah, that would make no fucking sense.
Like, I know that it's like, it's
cheaper.
It's cheaper to do it this way. Like the Steam Deck, not all the Steam Decks.
But you sold but you sold an OLED Switch. Like that's the problem, right? It's like you can't justify that because you already did it and you expected people to buy it. So you can't say, oh, it's cheaper to not do an OLED on the Switch 2. That doesn't make any fucking sense.
No.
Especially when the consoles you're competing with are how much is a PS5 with the disc drive?
500?
600? It's 500?
Well, depending on where you buy it. And now it's 600 someplace. Dude, wait, we could have added that to the...
What's going on?
Oh, did you not hear? Sony increased the price of the PS5 by a lot of money, pretty much everywhere but America.
I heard.
You said you
because
didn't
of
hear.
Inflation. No, I didn't think I heard, but when you said it, I was like, oh, okay. Because of inflation.
Like, Final Fantasy 16 was actually trending because of it, where a lot of people in Japan were really mad, and like they're thinking that, oh, they're not gonna buy people aren't gonna be here to buy the game anymore. Why are you smiling?
Because I think it's funny.
It is funny.
Because I think it's funny that it's like people are pissed off because I think a lot of people were planning on buying a PS5 for 16.
And now it's like a lot of people in Japan, it's like, I can't afford this. I'm not going to buy this game. If you guys would like to learn more, just Google Final Fantasy inflation.
You're an asshole. That took me a second.
When you were smiling, I thought I was like, oh no, he's seeing the bit coming.
I did not see the bit coming. That's gross. You're gross and funny. Congrats. That was very good setup.
Anyway, so Sony, I thought it was really funny though how as soon as they did that,
At least they're putting everything on PC.
yeah,
So
like as soon as they did that, everybody was like Sony and Microsoft, Nintendo and Microsoft,
Nintendo and Microsoft,
we're like, we're not doing that.
we have no plans to do this.
We're not doing that shit.
Nah.
I'm sure like they were all waiting for the first of them to do it so that the others could be like, we wouldn't do this. Are you
That's
kidding?
a bad reaction. We're not going to do that. Quick, put out a statement that we're not doing it.
You already had it prepared? Great.
Sony pushed the button. How'd it turn out? Everyone hates it. All right. Put out the post that says we're not doing it. Throw out that other one. We don't need the other one anymore.
I'm not gonna buy an Xbox, but at least they're staying the whatever price they are.
I've considered it, to be honest.
But like what could you play on Xbox that you couldn't play on PC?
It's a good point.
Yep. Well, like with Xbox in particular, this is not like a consoles war thing.
No.
It's just that me as a consumer have no reason to buy
they know
Xbox.
that too.
Yep.
They know that too. Like I think Phil Spencer has come out and been like, we're not trying to convince people who play on PC to buy an Xbox. It's like, we don't care about that. You're already buying our shit.
In addition to that, though, you could get almost anything else on some of the other systems. Like, yeah. PS5
which
or
is
Switch,
again Microsoft's intent. Phil Spencer's like, I'm not trying to compete with Sony and Nintendo for their exclusives.
That sounds like someone who lost would say.
That sounds like someone who has a ton of money because it's Microsoft and they could buy Sony right now if they wanted to.
Not.
They can. They can. The difference is huge. Like just the Xbox like gaming thing alone. Sorry, no, not the Xbox gaming thing alone, but Microsoft as a company, like it's almost like I want to say it's almost like 10 times as much of like a value as the company that is Sony.
If only they could make their video game consoles.
You got to remember, Sony like shut down a bunch of their branches and departments. Like they've downsized a lot and they've lost a lot of money on a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah, because they suck.
Yeah, they're sunsetting right now. Especially because they got Jim Ryan in the chair for gaming. Is it all of Sony or just the gaming thing that he's a CEO of?
I don't. I just know I think the gaming department is like the only bit of Sony that actually makes money.
I think their TVs don't do shit. I think their TVs do well.
Maybe it's like a bit of the tech, and then maybe and then definitely gaming. Citation, we don't have any.
Yeah. I think the Sony camera division does okay because like their cameras are like industry standards right now. Speaking of Sony, what are we picking?
Oh, is there multiples? I just was stalling for time.
Oh, you want to talk about the reboot, remaster, remake?
Yeah.
The remaster of the reboot of the remaster remake.
Isn't that today? Isn't that tonight?
Day one.
So, everyone already knows. It's kind of like we're, So Last of Us
Cullen talked about this on Twitter.
I did talk about this on Twitter. It blew up. I got 1 million followers from it. I am now bigger than Google.
Nice. Wait, seriously? That accessibility tweet actually caught on?
It did okay. 77 likes. Okay. Not great. It's fine. But pretty much like the reviews are coming out. They're kind of mixed. People are like, Last of Us was a good game. Most people would agree with that. Like, unless you're like the biggest contrarian in the world, you're probably not saying it was a garbage fire piece of trash. It was a good game. Maybe
it was okay at worst.
Yeah.
It was fine.
Like, I'm not the biggest Last of Us defender.
I don't really like the Last of Us
podcast.
I'm not the largest fan of Neil Druckmann either.
Yeah,
but like, I don't like the game's fine.
But so reviews are dropping. People like it. Cool. Okay. But let's
talk about the weird thing.
Yeah, the weird thing though is that once again, a lot of the reviews, and thankfully, I'm really glad reviews are bringing this up, is that a lot of reviews are talking about the accessibility options, which are all great. They all look spectacular. But now the discussions kind of popped up
Very
again.
cool.
Like Sphere Hunter was the first one I saw talk about it on Twitter. I know the Golden Bolt, Kevin. I don't know if you've seen any of his stuff. Very, very talented boy.
Let me see. I have like that problem where I can't recognize things by name.
But Golden Bolt put out a video on...
This is the Ratchet and Clank guy.
Yeah, he's great. We're mutuals. I wonder if I can get him on one day.
Maybe.
But so what I should do is, because he's friends with Wayne, I should get Wayne and him on the podcast. Send very kind letters to them saying you should... Don't actually do this. Do not at them. Don't actually be like, you should be on this podcast. No.
Real quick, unless the person is asking you to link them other content creators.
Yeah, don't do it.
Or if like they do content that's related to the content another content creator does and they're smaller and you're like, oh, this person might like to see this. Do not tag content creators to other content creators to be like, hang out, be friends. Don't do that.
Yeah. And if you're like, let's say, I've had a similar situation once where a wonderful friend of mine shared a video of mine that I put out, and then another content creator shielded their own video in the replies of that tweet and was like, you should check out my video. Don't do that. Don't do that
either.
Don't be a
It's
dick.
bad. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Anyway,
You could actually leave a comment on that video and link your thing and be like, hey, this is so cool. I made a video just like this about this. And then, make sure you watch the video and make sure the comment actually like has context for what someone talked about.
And you can,
because then that'd be cool.
Yeah, let's have a discussion about this. I also did like what I'll do sometimes when I'm reviewing a game is I'll be like,
on Twitter.
Great idea. Is I'll reach out to anyone else I know who also reviewed that game. Like when Embargo lifts, I'll be like, hey, I reviewed this as well. Do you want to talk about it? If they say no, don't. Or like they don't reply, just leave it at that. But
you can leave little notes. Don't
spread throughout for them to find out what happened.
Read the room. Know the time and place to do these things. In a YouTube comment, it's harmless. On a direct Twitter thread that somebody wants to like
boost
ideally go viral, like don't do that.
Don't do that. Anyway,
retweet it, like it, be like, hey, this person made a video similar to something I made. Go check it out. That's fine too. You can do that. Just don't directly link your content under someone else's content.
I'll say I can't believe Kevin the Golden Bolt took over our discussion topic. Kevin's great. Anyway, so
Kevin didn't even do that.
Kevin made a video which is really good where it's like, hey, why was this made? Which really gets down to it, because what they've been doing since day one of announcement on this, which was already one of the most leaked games ever made, was that it's like they were like, hey, we've improved so many accessibility options on this one. I couldn't even list them to you because there's a lot.
And they're incredible.
They're incredible. Like you look at Last of Us 2's and Last of Us 2 had great accessibility options. I think this is the step up. I haven't played it.
I think the last time we talked about accessibility options being this good, people were talking about Bayonetta 2 on the Wii U and how it had some of the most accessible things on it. That game won an award for accessibility options, and it's because of the Wii U gamepad. They were able to do so many things with it that people without hands could play Bayonetta 2. It was one of those things. Yeah. That was like the last time like accessibility options were this noteworthy, I think. Except for Last of Us Part 2, which had a lot of them as well.
This is like the one thing pretty much everybody, unless you're a fucking weirdo, agrees with. The Last of Us 2 nailed accessibility options. And the gameplay of that game is incredible. But being how this is a game in 2022 on a next-gen system, someone could not help themselves and charge $70 for this game. Now,
let's put that into context. Cullen, which version of The Last of Us Part 1 is this, like, numbered wise? How many times have they made
this is the third Last of Us one.
This is the third one. It's not a port of a previous version, right?
It is a full-on remake. Supposedly, this cost more money to make than the original game.
Okay. So, what's in this game?
A remade version of Last of Us 1 with no multiplayer.
How many years has it been since Last of Us Part 1 remaster?
Oh, the remaster. Because wasn't it that, like, the remaster came out a year after the PS3 version? I think that was, like, a thing. Because when did The Last of Us come out? I think it was 2013?
The remastered version came out in 2014.
Okay. It was literally a year after the original dropped.
Mm-hmm.
And here's the thing. That remaster can still be... Not only can the remaster still be played on PS5, it is free. As of now, if you have PlayStation Plus, it is free.
So let's talk about free updates.
Now, I will say, I think I know where you're going with this one.
And I know what you're saying. You're going to say making accessibility options costs.
Well, no, that's actually
money.
not what I'm saying. It does cost money.
Right.
But here's the thing. I have heard from a lot of people who kind of like like game design. I'm friends with a lot of game devs. They all think I'm cool and awesome. I don't have a list of you to ask them, but they exist. But no, for real. A lot of my game dev friends have said, like, yes, for what they were trying to do, you cannot really just do that in the old build.
Mm-hmm,
for one, it is PS3 code slapped into like a higher fidelity for PS4.
Yes.
Like, that game, you can't really just add that stuff.
Think of how many steps backwards you would have to work in order to implement it and then go, oh, fuck, that's a lot.
Now, what I think the reality of this situation is, as much as we'd like to be optimistic that this was done with great intentions to just make a more accessible version of The Last of Us, we also have to take into consideration that an HBO series is coming out next year. And that is probably the reason why this exists. Now, I've also heard that it's like, oh, well, this is actually being made as it's a way to reset the dev cycle, and so Naughty Dog can do less crunch, which that seems weird.
That seems
wrong.
odd, considering if you wanted to save on crunch, you could just not have done a project in the first place.
Yeah, it's like,
if you want to save people's like energy, hey Mike, if you want to like save people's energy, if you want to like do your employees a favor, you could just not do another project on top of everything else you're working on. And I think that dev cycle thing's a misconception because the company as a whole is not working exclusively on The Last of Us Part 1 remake.
Yeah.
There are several projects they're probably working on. Tacking on another project is not going to reset the dev cycle because there's multiple things happening at once.
Like, just change the company culture. Like, make a new game, change the company culture.
Like, because if you don't change the company culture, you're going to run into crunch anyway because you still have the same system in place that created the crunch in the first place.
Like, I get if they were like, oh, well, this was like a reset for them because now they got their game out. Like, you know, they don't have to delay it anymore, all that stuff. But then it's like, okay, but they didn't have to work on Last of Us.
What games does Naughty Dog have in the pipeline that we know of? It doesn't matter because they don't have to go public with everything they're currently working on.
Yeah, and like they don't have any deadlines anymore. Like, they have no hard deadlines. Like they could have just made something else. But so a lot of justifications.
Oh, I see what you were saying, Peruser. I'm sorry. Yeah, I get you.
Yeah.
You were being rhetorical. I got you.
Yeah, like it's a frustrating. And here's the thing. I need to make this very clear. I have friends who love The Last of Us and are like really excited for this. I don't think this game looks bad. This probably needed to be. It's
probably gonna be great,
dude.
People are probably gonna love it,
dude. I mean, it's been getting good reviews. When this drops, like if I could get this for $30, sure. Like, this is the definition of an impulse buy game. I see this on a shelf cheap enough, and I'm like, fuck it. Why not? I like The Last of Us. I'd like to see what they do with it. I've seen a lot of stuff that I'm thinking that doesn't look as good, but I've heard it's great in motion. Like, and again, Kevin's video said it's great. But I think what the problem comes down to is that it's like saying, okay, but why did this need to be $70? Like,
that's a really good point.
Like,
see, there's a lot of things that are really convenient here. Okay,
a bit
like,
too much.
And
too many coincidences.
I feel like, yeah, it's like okay, you've got an HBO series coming out, so you're remaking the game. Great. But no one's really, like, their advertising really doesn't seem to reflect that. Their advertising seems to be pretending like that's not why they made the game. So like they're talking about like the accessibility options.
And all
they're
the
talking
new
about like
graphical
all
things
the
they're
new
doing.
thing, whatever. And it seems like, and then also like the dev cycle thing and resetting. I don't know if that was their words or just speculation. Yeah. Okay, never mind then. But like it feels like a really massive coincidence that your HBO series is coming out, and then suddenly it's like, oh, we've always wanted to remake The Last of Us Part 1 to have our accessibility options from The Last of Us Part 2 and this and that. And it's like, yeah, if the HBO show wasn't happening, would this have happened? And also, with the money you're, I'm assuming, getting from the HBO show, do you have to sell this for $70? Is the other question. How many times can we redo this before people go, hey, make another fucking video game?
I can't help but think that the $70 thing is just it was chosen for the most cynical fucking reasons.
Because games are $70 on the PS5.
But they don't need to be. Like that is not a mandate.
And if they do it below that, they rock the boat.
Yeah, like a lot of games that are on like both, like fucking Soul Hackers 2, not the best example ever, but $60 on PS4 and PS5. Like, some devs are going to stick with $60 because, like, for now, I don't know if things are going to change. Again, if you really want to learn more, just look up fucking Last of Us inflation. Don't look that up.
Don't look that up. You'll get put on a list.
They will
put you on a list. Final Fantasy you might get away with depending on what shows up, but don't Google The Last of Us inflation. No. You will get raided.
You don't do it.
Don't do it.
Now, and it kind of goes back, also circles back to a bit of that. It's like, oh, let's talk about remake culture. Did this game need to be remade? And I think they're thinking they can recoup the cost for doing such an extravagant remake because they know the fans and they know that enough, like a hardcore enough, like, okay, you are your average PS5 gamer. You have not played The Last of Us. You've heard great things. You're going to buy it. You watch the HBO show in a year. You see that this is the version. You're going to buy it. If you are a diehard Last of Us fan, that price does not matter. And I can say this as someone who falls into, like, I have my vices. If Atlas started releasing games at $70, I'd be like, that sucks. Oh, well, like, I want to play the new, like, I get it.
Right.
I get it.
So, like, that's I think you accidentally brought up a good point against this game from coming out. I struggle to imagine that the general audience for this game, so not just general audiences overall, but for this game, I struggle to imagine that they want to replay The Last of Us Part 1.
Well,
I feel like you've played it twice. Like, I feel like you've played two different versions of it already, right? And I know this remake seems exciting to part of its audience or most of its audience, but I hesitate to think if this costs more money to make than The Last of Us Part 1, first of all, that statement could mean 1,000 things. It could mean just making games in general has gotten more expensive. It might not even be a matter of, we put more time and effort into this or money into this.
Games have absolutely cost more money to make.
It could just be an inflation issue is what I'm saying, or a technology costing more money issue. Like, it might not necessarily be that this game's bigger and badder and, You know, like it could just be a matter of fact that it is more expensive because it was cheaper to make the original 10 years ago.
And that's actually a good point. Jim Ryan had a really good interview about this. If you want to learn more, please look up Jim Ryan inflation.
But like, you know, so one, there's that. But two, it's like I hesitate. I struggle to believe that the sales of this game are going to outweigh the costs of making it. And
that's
in
probably
my head,
why
I'm
they're
like,
doing like they're charging that little bit extra.
The extra, but also like that's just the industry standard. I think that's more of like, we don't want to rock the boat because we don't want to be the first big company that decides, oh, we're not going to charge you 70 for this,
but
whatever.
It's also a remake.
But it's also a remake.
Bit gross that
I
this
feel
game
like
has less content.
Mm-hmm.
Now, okay, this is something I'm curious about. Does anyone know? Does this have the DLC campaign?
It better. It would be really bad if it didn't, because that's really important to Ellie's character.
Yeah, what's that? It's
like
called? It's called like.
It's arguably the best part of the game. So.
Left Behind.
Yeah.
Last of Us.
But then on top, like the point I was gonna get to is like, if I don't think this is going to make back the cost, which leads me to believe that this is partly made with the money from the HBO special.
We're really gonna have to see how sales end up on this. I think it will make its money. What I typically I like to look outside of the bubble that people like us typically stay in. That's really important to do when you're judging things like that. Is like,
I just don't think the audience that plays that plays the Last of Us series
are excited for this. And like people diehard Last of Us fans.
Like, how many of them
replay this game
are there?
A lot? No, there's a reason why this is one, like Last of Us. So like Last of Us 2, even like despite being massively contentious, remember how everybody was shitting on that game like crazy? And then it sold gangbusters.
But let me put it this way. Do you buy every re-release of Kingdom Hearts?
GC.
You do. GC, I know you do.
GC,
that was a terrible example. Okay, let me put it this way.
No, GC, you accidentally came up with the best example.
Shit!
GC,
it's true.
GC, do you buy every Dragon Quest game, including really?
I don't. I don't actually. The only reason I have the Super Famicom versions of Dragon Quest is because they were a gift. The only reason I have the 3DS copy of Dragon Quest 11 is because you gave it to me for my birthday.
Yeah. But
I did buy every version of Dragon Quest 11, but that's because S had extra content and there was a justifiable reason to buy that wasn't just it's the same thing but on another console.
But like let's say tomorrow they announce like Dragon Quest, like ports for Dragon Quest fucking 4, 5, and I know you're not gonna buy 6.
Okay, fuck you. Fuck you. Yes, I would. You're right. Okay, you're right. That's
the thing.
But I'm a niche audience for that series.
You're in
How big is the audience for The Last of Us, really?
Bigger than Dragon Quest. That's what I'm saying. You might be a niche in a smaller thing, but that niche is bigger for the bigger series.
But is the attitudes of those two audiences comparable? Like, is the attitude for The Last of Us audience the same sort of like, because it's not a niche audience. Like, it's not a niche IP. So my brain, I'm just explaining like, you're right. You're right. I did fucking shoot myself in the foot and prove myself wrong. And you're totally right.
Yeah.
Like, makes sense. But in my head, I'm like, it's not a niche audience. Like, it's not a niche IP. It's not like something that is a cult, like a cult classic. It was popular when it came out. It was popular when it got remastered. It's popular now when the sequel came out. My idea is like, because it's so popular and in abundance, is the audience really sort of conditioned to pick up every release of it?
What I'm thinking is that the people who are double dipping, they will be a sizable amount of the people buying this game. But that's because that if you are a fan of Last of Us and you get to replay The Last of Us in fucking 8K 60F, you know what I mean? Like, you get that experience.
That is the same audience. That is
You
the same
get
audience.
that experience.
You're
But
totally right.
That's not going to be all of them. But like, you're going to have that base who fucking will buy anything Last of Us. $70,
But you're absolutely
don't care.
right. That audience 100% gives a fuck about, I want to play this game at a bigger resolution and I want it to look nicer, because there's a whole lot of overlapping.
It's a AAA game. That's
100%.
But also,
you're right.
You're adding enough to it in like marketing sense. We know there's like us, we're the cynical fucking niche game people. Like, we don't, GC, like, how many AAA games do you buy a year? You could probably maximum count it on one hand. And we can
find out. Check this out.
And I'd argue that Nintendo doesn't always really even count. Nintendo's very smart at getting AA games, like AA.5 games, pretty much.
Don't be moving goalposts.
All right. You know what? I'll keep the goalposts.
Don't be moving.
But like,
did Halo Infinite come out this year?
No, it was last year.
Okay, so I bought,
and also it's free to play.
Not the campaign. I bought the campaign.
I didn't buy that.
I bought it. It's actually kind of neat. I actually thought it was kind of neat. Okay, so actually I can pull up my Steam thing. Well, okay.
This isn't moving goalpost. I'm more talking about, like, when I say AAA, I'm thinking like the AAA that most people buy is not
the general audience AAA.
Yeah, which is not always Nintendo. Nintendo.
You're talking about the stuff that the guys I go to work with talk about.
Yes,
when it comes out.
Call of the stuff that like the bros buy.
The stuff that the bros are looking at. I bought Dying Light 2.
Yep.
I bought Elden Ring. And yes, that is the bros game.
That is definitely.
That's the bros game, because I went to work and I mentioned Elden Ring once, and the 35-year-old dad with 2 kids was like, "Oh, dude, Elden Ring? I'm thinking about buying
Elden Ring is for the bros now. Sorry.
It's always been for the bros. I bought
not Bloodborne. That's for trans people.
Correct. I bought. We're not counting Rise. We're not counting Monster Hunter. That is a very large budget game, and that is a very popular game. But I don't want to count Monster Hunter because Monster Hunter is for Monster Hunter people. Capcom
is in that same kind of niche that Nintendo is, where it's
AA.
Well, Capcom is definitely AAA. They have money put into the games, but they get like the people like Capcom and Nintendo are the AAA games for people like us.
I think Capcom targets specific enthusiasts.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think Nintendo does that. Nintendo just targets a more general audience, usually younger audience. So as an older person who buys games for younger audiences, I am technically a niche.
Yeah.
But, you know, those are still, I think those still count.
I did not think you'd actually be able to do this.
Yeah. I can pull it up.
I honestly forgot why I asked this. I'll be
to prove the point that we are not the market, and so our perspective is different.
Yeah. Well,
our perspective doesn't really like the way I'm coming at it, like this sort of disbelief that people will buy this again, that the audience is like that. I bought the Witch Queen expansion, and I bought Marvel Spider-Man Remastered.
Oh, I bought that
PC.
too. I bought that too.
Yeah, I'm waiting until they get the mod that replaces the Peter Parker
face
model.
Yep. Yep. I'm playing it on Steam Deck. It's so good. I want my face.
I want my new face. So you're right. I could count it on one hand.
Yeah.
You're right.
But
you're right. Fine.
For the people who get like those AAA games.
I get it. I bought the Legacy Edition of Mass Effect.
Yeah.
But those games are older. So like that's my thing, is like
bit different. And also that's 3 games in one. But like
that's my thing. It's like
what they're doing from a marketing sense is they are saying if you are new, if you are a new player, this is the best way to play Last of Us 1. And I am sure in many ways they are right. It is technically the best way to play Last of Us 1. And if you see that, you're going to go, oh, and also you're like, oh, I have a PS5, a new game. Oh, okay. Like
I guess I just find it distasteful that they're pushing the accessibility stuff as like the forefront of their marketing.
To get back to where we, how we got here in the first place. Yes, I think it is very distasteful to
I think it's in poor taste to do that.
to be like, our game is so accessible, that'll be $70, because $70
like-
is not accessible.
I feel like being like, oh, we've done all this stuff to make the game more accessible to new people and this and that, and then it's like, it's so cynically obvious that this is a tie-in for your HBO series.
Yeah. And like,
And it's
given
like,
this game will probably be $50 in a couple months. Like, they're really just trying to, with that $70, they're saying, we want to get the people who can't wait. We want the big fans. We want to get it, that extra little bit of money to recoup as much cost as we can, because not a lot of people have PS5s.
let me actually, okay, I think I've got a great way of doing this. Instead of saying we've moved the accessibility options from Last of Us 2 into this remake, so that you can enjoy all the benefits of that in this game as well. Instead of that being sort of the selling point, they are treating those accessibility options as this brand new thing, as like this big deal.
Yeah.
And I feel like they're only doing that because when The Last of Us 2 came out, they were surprised by people congratulating them on the accessibility options in that, and they've taken that notoriety or that accolade and are now using it to advertise their next thing, again, which is the cynical tie-in with the HBO series. But they're sort of being like, we're inclusive now.
Yeah.
And I feel like the accessibility options in The Last of Us 2 were not something that they were pushing as like a, oh, buy Last of Us 2, the most accessible game ever. Like we're consciously making sure that this is a thing. I feel like a lot of people that needed accessibility options played The Last of Us 2, got all these accessibility options, talked about it, and then suddenly they were like, oh, people really liked that. Let's use that as a marketing gimmick for the next thing.
Now, here's the thing. I feel like almost all of these bad vibes we're kind of getting here would be fixed immediately if it was not $70.
Yes.
I'd say 50 max is my like. That
I would have to wonder how much the game costs to be remade, and then I would have to question, like, if it's like, oh, we made it from scratch, then I would question why.
Because I don't think they did any new voice recording, and the mocap is the same.
Like, I would, it begs the question as to, like, fine, if it cost a lot of money to make, that's fine. I'm not saying the game shouldn't be $70 if it costs that much, right? If it's like, well, of course it costs $70. Making games is expensive and this and that. Okay, but then why did you make it that way?
Yeah.
Like then I would question how you spent your money.
Yeah.
Then I would question like where that money went into and how you rebuilt and remade that game, and why you did it in the way that you did it.
Because when they make Last of Us Part 3, which they're definitely going to do, and they release that for $70, you could obviously be like, oh, $70 for a video game, but you'll also be like, that is a brand new ass game. That's a brand new ass game in 8K. Like, you see it. It's brand new.
It's like, okay, so this is $70. This brand new game that you, I mean, I would assume you spent more on this because you had to pay the voice actors and you had to do motion cap and you had to do all this
write
rigging,
and you had to
and you had to do all this.
You had to
writing
make
and all this other
environments
stuff.
from scratch. You had nothing to base it off.
Right. You have to reconcept everything. Okay, so that's $70. That's $70, and it has all the accessibility options from the other stuff because now you're using that as a marketing gimmick. And also, you should just continue to do that, please. Like,
oh yeah, like let's make this clear.
So
more accessibility. We are not saying
that's
accessibility, but please keep it up.
So that's $70. But then why was this $70? And arguably, that's going to cost you more money to make, including because of inflation problems, right? Because we're about to hit a fucking recession.
Yeah.
So if The Last of Us Part 3 is going to be $70 as well, and arguably you would need more money for that, why is The Last of Us Part 1 remade also $70 on top of the fact that you probably know that less people are going to buy this? I don't care who you are, how big the audience is, how committed they are. More people will buy The Last of Us Part 3 than the remake of The Last of Us Part 1 in that audience. Because there are going to be people in that audience who don't want to buy a remake of The Last of Us Part 1, but will 100% buy the next installment. Arguably, they will be more interested in that. And
also,
that's not a bad speculation to make. That's kind of like a known thing with remasters and sequels and remakes. It's like,
now there is a rare chance. I'm talking, it's not impossible, but it's slim. This is gonna do fucking crazy. Like, go,
like you said, it probably will.
Also, like, holidays coming up.
Yeah, sure.
Honestly, I think sales are gonna go fucking crazy. Cause, like, here's the thing. My money, I'm not buying Last of Us Part 1 on launch. Absolutely not. If someone said, I bought you Last of Us Part 1, I'd be like, okay, I'll take that. But that's still a sale. Like, that's still a sale. But what I was gonna get at is, and I'm not going to be like, fucking, what's the word? Like, I'm not gonna have a false equivocation, whatever, and say that, like, you can get Last of Us 2 for $20 right now. But that's a game that, no, but in that same vein, right. Last of Us Part 2, when it launched, was $60.
Yeah.
It is about twice as long as Last of Us Part 1. Depending on how much content you do, it could even be thrice as long as Last of Us Part 1. So you're taking a game that is about a third of the content. You ripped out the multiplayer and you're charging $10 more.
And I understand. We both understand that, like, the length of a game, the size of content of a game doesn't necessarily justify a price point.
Of course,
but it is a good point to bring up that it's like, it's one of those it's questionable. I think it's questionable. I think it's right to be like $70 for this is something we can question. Normally I would wipe my ass with this conversation, but this is something that's like,
I feel like when you hit the AAA space, it is definitely like, I get it.
When you hit the AAA space, it becomes a question of, because AAA, because they are very blatantly doing, how can we cut corners to make the most amount of money with the least amount of I'm gonna say work, but it's not employee effort. It's scope, and it's how much money can we save on this project and still make gangbusters. Like, that's the mentality. I'm not saying, they were lazy. No. The executives can be scam artists, and largely are. Most very expensive businesses are. And so, like, I think that's what I'm talking about.
A decent, maybe accidental point came up in chat just now of like, Nintendo. Can't wait for Nintendo to charge $60 for Wind Waker HD. Now, here's the thing. Going back to that a little bit, if they're fucking smart,
they won't.
They won't. Like, here. Well, I was gonna say,
if they're smart, they won't.
Well, okay. If they're evil, and because the rumor is Twilight Princess and Wind Waker,
how much was Skyward Sword HD?
60. No, wait.
There's
50.
your answer.
50. It was 50.
Was it 50?
I think it was $50.
That's still not enough, but okay.
Yep. Well, but here's the thing, though. Like,
it did come with an amiibo.
I did not.
Oh, that's right. It was separate. Fuck, I bought that separate. Shit. I had money back then.
But, like, if Nintendo put out both of those games in a bundle for $60, I'd buy that.
Sure.
Like, for me, it's typically like remaster range. $50 is like the most, really. I will pay $60 if I love the product enough.
I will pay $60 if I really, really want to replay it.
Yes.
And I want it to look
if you're adding a bunch of stuff, or you're doing something. Here's
of the quality time, though, of life issues for a game you really, really want. Okay, I'll pay the $60.
Like,
fuck it.
Or that game was previously impossible to get.
Right.
Like, let me find real quick.
Like a scarcity issue that was not artificially done. Like, it's literally, this game's this old, and just we didn't print a lot.
Tactics Ogre Reborn is coming out for $50.
Great example.
No problem.
Good luck finding a copy of Tactics Ogre that's affordable
on PSP.
Same reason why I like this is also goes back to
This
like you said,
Last
oh
of Us-
GC, you'd buy all the Dragon Quest shit.
Yep.
Well, yeah, because
They're not
right
a bit-
now Dragon Quest 6 on the DS is like $200.
Yeah, like
Of course I would buy a remake just to have it so that I wouldn't run into this problem again.
when the alternative for
Or
a game like
remaster,
that,
or
which is
re-release.
it's hard to get, like I fucking Nocturne HD, $50. People had a lot of problems with that, but like
Nocturne, before they fucking announced it, Nocturne was fucking expensive as hell.
Actually,
I literally have a copy of SMT3 Nocturne that was for the PS fucking 2 that was $50
why did you spend $50 on it?
because it was 10 years ago when I fucking bought it. And it was hard to come
Oh.
by at the time.
Because yeah, no, they did reprints on that. That game's
Yes,
been,
and
like-
then they did reprints.
yeah,
But that's my
But-
point. Like
Yep.
like imagine if those reprints had never fucking happened.
Yep. But
You
like
know?
it's that kind of thing where it's like, and this just goes back again to Last of Us, which is like Last of Us is so accessible. It's fucking free. It's a free game. Not
I
to
think
harp on it too much. Again, we need to make this clear.
we're kind of making a big deal about it, but I kind of feel like it should be made a big deal because of like the way they're marketing it. Like I don't something about it just rubs me the wrong way.
If this was $50, I wouldn't bat an eye. Like I'm sure
A
you'd
lot
have
of-
people who would still be mad, but like most people would not care. They'd be like, "Oh, that's cool."
Yeah, I guess it would be a broader discussion of like remakes are going to be $50 on next gen consoles, and it's like let's talk about that price point because we talked about the price point being $70 on PS5, and we all think that's bullshit.
And
But
some
let's talk about how that change influences the budget titles.
and especially because we know that they did not add or change anything. This is the same game. Like
It's weird.
before anyone says like, "Oh, but you'll buy Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 versus like cuz that is its own thing." They
As
made
much
a
as I
game
don't like
from
remake,
scratch.
yeah. As much as I don't like remake,
That is a new
I get it.
game. Like even
I don't
Remake
like
Part
it.
1.
Yeah, I don't like it, but yeah, that makes sense that it's a full price game. Look at it.
Yeah. Like
Like
they
it-
rewrote,
it's
re-recorded,
not the,
re-
it's
like-
not it. They couldn't take anything from the from the original and like done anything with it.
Like I
They
think
couldn't
even
have.
the voice again. Correct us if we're
There's
wrong.
no voice work in FF7.
Well, no, I was gonna say for Last of Us. I think it's the same. It's they didn't record
No,
anything
they
new.
re-recorded their lines. I think.
Did they? Okay.
I think so. I think because remember we were watching Jeff Keighley and they came out and we were like, this segment sucks because it's just Neil Druckmann talking about how people ruined his announcement instead of like talking about the game.
I am trying to.
And Troy
find-
Baker and the lady who voices Ellie, whose name I can't remember. I'm so sorry. I always forget your fucking name. They were talking about how, oh yeah, it was nice to like be back in the booth and whatever. Or I think they were on. No, I think they were on set for the HBO thing. I might be misremembering that.
No, I
you
think,
look that up. I have to pee again.
again. Jesus.
I'm 30. Okay.
Go pee. Go pee pee. Pee pee.
I'm
little
turning
baby
30.
Boy.
My bladder is failing me.
I
Getting
control
another
F
Coca-Cola.
voice and I didn't find anything. Let's see. Voice. No one talking about new recording? Control F? No. Voice. Nothing. Jesus. Anyway. We'll be winding down from the Last of Us talk, but like it's a weird situation. YouTube VOD viewers, hello. Welcome to downtime. You could be like, Cullen, you should cut this out. I'm not editing these. Nope. It all stays in. Yeah, I am not seeing anything about new voice recordings. Last of Us Part 1. New voice recording. Voice on recording. Recording. Last of Us Part 1 is confirmed as a remake. I'm not seeing. You figured there'd be something, but not a reimagining. No, I don't want a bookmark. Oh, yeah, this is likely so Naughty Dog could keep all of The Last of Us's original voice lines intact. It does not seem as if. I don't think they recorded anything new. Editing is not the vibe, especially for huge 3-hour recordings like this. Absolutely not. One's emotional intro. GC?
Yes.
I don't think they recorded anything new.
Okay, then, just adds more to the big question mark of why?
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 I say we
move on.
We move on. To the real topic of discussion.
What's the real topic of discussion?
Liquor bite. That's what we promised people.
What? Liquor bite.
Or bite. Lick. Or bite.
Do a poll. Do a poll right now on Twitch.
All right.
Do a poll. Do a poll. Let's make a poll.
All
right, folks, we're going to ask you a question. Okay? We're going to ask you a question, and we're going to divide ourselves into teams. All right? All of you out there in TV land.
Now, hold on. I'm not going to allow additional votes for this one because people would ruin
No,
the channel.
no cheating. No
cheating.
additional votes. You vote once. No los dos. No los dos.
We'll do 3 minutes. Okay, so honestly, I feel like suck could be part of it.
How do you eat ice cream? Do you lick it or do you bite it?
Now,
if you suck it, you're not eating ice cream, you're drinking a soup.
No. Because, okay, let's define ice cream. Let's define it. Because when I saw this, I thought popsicle. That is the only ice cream I could see that would fit into both of these categories. You can't bite, like...
I'm going to say suck is part of lick. See, here's a problem. You brought up a good problem. I bite popsicles.
I
chew popsicles.
So your team bite.
No.
But you
because
don't
any
bite
other ice cream I lick.
Because you can't bite ice cream.
That's what people are talking about.
No, but
they're talking about biting into vanilla cones. Like swirls? They talk about biting the swirl. That's what this conversation is about.
I feel like this needs to be a more nuanced discussion then.
If you use a spoon, you lick, you don't bite.
I'd say spoon, or it's like with spoon you sucking.
You're licking. You lick it off the spoon.
No, you're sucking.
Yeah, no, you lick it. You lick it.
What?
You lick it off the spoon. You don't go off the spoon.
Yes, I do. I literally do that.
No, you don't.
Yes, I do.
How do you not die? How do you not asphyxiate? No, you wipe it across your lip. You do not slurp ice cream, Cullen. No fucking way. If this fucking guy listen to me. If this fucking guy comes back with ice cream and I see him suck the ice cream off the spoon and it's like an actual suck and not him just licking the thing off the spoon or like removing it with his lips, I swear to God, I'm going to hit him in the face when I see him in person. There's no... I'm intolerant of this fucking bite slander that's going around. You put the whole spoon in your mouth, but you go... and you rub it against the top of your lip. How do you get it off of the thing? How do you not choke on the spoon when you suck? Like, do you never lose your grip?
2 different things that would be ice cream like, and I have a spoon. Now, I apologize in advance. This is my roommate's. I'm not going to eat that much. I need to prove a point.
I got a question for you. I got a question for you. Do you suck peanut butter off the spoon?
I thought that was gonna go in a much different direction.
Do you suck peanut butter off the spoon? You can't.
You can.
No. Lick one! Fuck you, Cullen!
No, but
Yes!
it's not about this, because we realized that fucking war has changed. Because you agreed with me, because in what my concept of bite was in this discussion, you agreed with me. Because I was thinking popsicle. But now, I'm on team suck. Look, I got ice cream.
You didn't suck it! That's not
I
a
literally
suck!
sucked it, but that's not a lick.
Yeah, it is!
No, a lick would be like...
No! The only thing you did different there was stick your tongue out at the end. What are you talking about?
Actually, hold on.
All you did was stick your tongue out.
Hold on. I just realized.
And now you're licking the ice cream in your mouth.
No. I subconsciously, if you check the clip, I subconsciously just started biting it.
No, you didn't. Fuck
yes,
off.
I did.
No!
What?
We were so close. You did not chew.
Fuck you, I did chew.
Why the fuck do you chew?
I don't know. I chew ice cubes.
You fucking like, okay, but an ice cube is a solid. That's a quasi-solid.
But it's still cold. That's the big
right,
thing.
you rub it up the top of your mouth. You aerate it.
How is that? Look, you put a spoon in your mouth. Like, why
you are trying so hard not to fucking lick the goddamn spoon right now.
How do you lick
I can
a spoon?
fucking see it.
Look.
How do you lick a spoon? Are you kidding me?
You do like,
how many sayings do we have about licking spoons?
I don't lick spoons. Even that just now felt wrong. Why would I lick a spoon? You lick a spoon when it's maybe like, oh, gotta lick it clean. You're going,
oh my god, I don't have any fucking ice cream, but if I did. Okay, I'm gonna show you right now. You know what? I bet I have ice cream. Hang on. You know what? I do. I do have ice cream. It's shitty ice cream, but fuck you. I'm gonna go get it.
I licked it the entire time. I'm just being toxic for discourse. But no, not really though. All right, but for real, like, yeah, if it goes into your mouth before your tongue touches it, that's a great point. It is not a lick. I was gonna call this the remake of the no, this is liquor bite. Why does it matter? Because it has to be discourse. I'm gonna go put the ice cream back and then do the rest of this with the pudding. Not mine.
I don't have any ice cream, so I can't prove my point. Why does it matter? It doesn't matter, but that's why it's fun.
Oh, fucking hell. The pineapple on pizza discourse matters, where it's like, it doesn't actually fucking matter, and if anyone tries
but it's fun to yell at each other about it.
It's fun to yell,
it doesn't matter.
And as soon as someone actually makes it a really big deal, you know they're a fucking loser who needs to go outside more. GC looks defeated, that's because he is.
Olivia came up with a great point. I'm actually just kind of sad that I don't have ice cream.
Because you can't prove it, and I'm right.
Fuck you!
Olivian said, it's not a lick if it goes in your mouth before your tongue touches it.
But it's not a bite, and neither is it a suck.
It is a suck because you're sucking the spoon.
You're not inhaling. You're not inhaling. You just pass it, and the friction just fucking takes it off the thing. Yeah, you're not sucking.
Using your tongue. You're not using your tongue.
But it's not a okay. But if it's not a
slurp,
if it's not a lick, it's not a suck.
Well,
it's not a slurp. You don't slurp. You don't slurp because a slurp is just a suck. That's a slurp. That's a suck. You're inhaling. That's what a suck is. Suck is. Are you kidding me? The definition of slurp is eat or drink something with a loud, sloppy sucking noise.
Damn, girl, you got that loud, sloppy sucking noise.
It's not a bite. It's not a. It's not a bite. It's not a suck. It's a lick.
It's not
because
a lick.
That is the close.
Now we're it's like, oh, it's the closest thing.
You
I
are
think it's
pressing
closer to a suck.
You are pressing your tongue to the bottom of the spoon.
But you're not licking the ice cream.
And you are, in order to clean the spoon,
look.
You are licking it. The definition of lick. Here's the definition of lick. Pass the tongue over something in order to taste, moisten, or clean it.
You know what you're using your tongue to taste and clean and
Silver.
moisten?
I know.
So you're
exactly.
wrong.
But what comes off of the spoon and what stays in your mouth? It's ice cream.
No, look, okay.
You might be cleaning it, but you are cleaning it to taste what's on the spoon. You lick the spoon, and then what do you do after ice cream? Do you swallow it whole?
Oh, I'm always...
No, you do this. You go...
That's a bite!
No, you're fucking rubbing it on your tongue to taste it. You didn't taste it. You're not eating ice cream. Now you're just doing it to prove a point.
My parents are always saying I don't taste anything. I inhale. Which means...
You are swallowing.
Yeah.
You are making it... You're like that doesn't change the fact that you're not biting or sucking.
But you're...
Like normal people lick ice cream.
Okay, but you could argue that you lick everything.
A hot dog is a sandwich. We're over this. A hot dog is a sandwich. We're open this.
Again, that's so
if people who don't think a hot dog is a sandwich have never heard of horseshoe sandwiches, like it's a fucking sandwich. Get over it. The more important thing is you are not biting the ice cream.
Chat, I need you to vote yes really fast. Wait.
No! Oh my god, where was this poll? You didn't tell anybody.
Hold on, wait, hold on. Did I want no or did I want yes?
You wanted no, because you said a slurp was not a suck.
Don't vote yes! Vote no!
You didn't even tell anybody about it, so like this is already biased. But nobody can see it because you don't tell anybody. It's very hard to see
right
there's
there in chat.
This is classic. This is classic slurp, not suck fucking rhetoric, okay? This is you guys fucking coming in here, holding a poll without letting people know about it, and then they don't get to vote on it.
Hold on.
All right, this is gerrymandering from the not slurp suck people.
Do not accuse me of gerrymandering, you fuck.
This is fucking gerrymandering. I'll see your ass in court. You did your civic duty. A slurp is a suck, guys. Come on.
No, it's not. No, it's not.
Are you
Hold the
kidding
line.
me?
Hold the line.
Draw into the mouth by contracting the muscles of the lip and mouth to make a partial vacuum. Synonym for suck. Slurp. Come on.
Okay. But
gulp.
Okay, but with your definition,
sup.
But that means you eat everything with your by licking. Just because
when you sip through a straw, when you sip something through a straw, you are sucking. Correct?
But I'm making a suction, like I'm inhaling the liquid on the spoon.
That's what a slurp is. When you slurp your soup, what are you doing? You're inhaling it to bring it into your mouth. A slurp is a suck.
I feel like we lost our goalpost.
No, we didn't lose the goalpost. You moved the goalpost, and I decided to play on your field, you fucker.
Okay, but you're saying that, like, with your logic, that's like, oh, you lick ice cream, but, like, anything that enters your mouth, you lick to taste.
But very specifically, with ice cream, you do this.
No, I don't.
You take what's on your tongue, and you move it around. And you get the taste out of it like that. Did we already talk about Soul Hackers 2? No! We're talking about something way more important.
Way more important. I feel like I should clip this bit.
Can you imagine if Atlas made another Catherine game and one of the like yes or no questions they ask you is, do you lick or bite ice cream? And you have to pull the fucking rope.
What's really funny is that all of those questions are made to be either like you're a piece of shit or you don't cheat on your wife kind of like categories. So that would prove one to be right.
Here's a weird ambiguous question. Oh, you hate your wife. What? No, what if I'm in an open relationship?
Game's not that smart.
The people who wrote it don't believe in open relationships. What are you eating? Are you just eating peanut butter out the can?
It's pudding.
Okay.
It's like
that's fine.
It's yogurt. It is mocha and chocolate cream, so more caffeine. Mocha and chocolate creamy whole milk yogurt. It's called Hui by Yoplait.
I'm fucking hungry.
Yeah.
You did this. You all did this. We lick ice cream. You can buy. Okay, let's
you can
find
do
the middle
all
ground.
of it. You can do.
Let's
all
find
of
the
it.
middle ground. This conversation is impossible to figure out because I bite cookie sandwiches.
Yeah, absolutely.
I bite ice cream sandwiches. I bite popsicles.
Well, hold on now. Back up a little bit. Cookie sandwiches. You ever lick the ice cream down the middle of the cookies so that you can clean up? Because sometimes they overstuff the cookie, and in that instance, you got to use that tongue.
Are you admitting to licking ice cream?
I have licked ice cream. I do not do it by default.
I feel like this entire conversation is a euphemism for something else, but all right.
Look, okay, you have an overstuffed cookie. The ice cream is like hanging out because some dipshit who works at Cold Stone,
Yeah,
who's
he
bad
filled it
at
up
his
too
job,
much.
He filled it up too much, and
Yeah.
then he takes
There's
that
too much
ice
cream coming out of this cookie.
Well, no, but like after he filled that cookie up too much, he's like, well, shit, I can't sell this. I'm going to take it home. And then he takes his bad cookie home and he wants to eat the ice cream cookie. And then he realizes that maybe there's a reason why no one would want to buy this fucking cookie. So he can't bite it or just too much cream. So he goes, "Ugh." How do you eat tacos? Hard.
I also eat tacos hard, Cullen.
Hard is just the way
I'm
to
diamonds when I eat tacos.
go. Oh, yeah. Cock.
How do you know? No, they're asking, where do you start?
Oh, that's interesting.
Assuming a hard taco. Assuming a hard
side?
taco. You do side first? Yeah, I do side first.
What do you mean by side? Hold on. Wait.
Like here's
What's
the
the side?
here's the half circle.
Yeah.
Right? I start at the bottom side.
Oh.
Like I rotate it so that it's a crescent. It's a half circle but vertically, and I eat it starting with the corner. I start with the corner, and then as I go, once my bites get too big, I'll eat the top, and then I'll keep going towards the bottom.
I need to make this clear. The cookie story was not a euphemism. I worked
the cookie
at Cold
story
Stone.
was definitely a euphemism.
No, it was not.
I made it one.
You made it one, but that's your own prerogative.
I made it a sick, twisted thing, and I just let you roll with it.
It was but I was based on facts. I actually
True.
like for real though. You can't. Look.
It's too much. It's too much. It'll fall out. It'll be gross.
Exactly. You gotta clean.
We can make it, before we get into tacos. We can acquiesce.
Yes.
That the lick versus bite posted by the Sonic the Hedgehog Twitter page was an intentional trap to get us to give it impressions.
Oh, shit,
because the reality is that sometimes you bite ice cream, sometimes you lick ice cream. Everybody does both. It just depends what kind of ice cream you're playing.
When I saw that, I was like, the only ice cream you could really bite or lick is a popsicle. Now, that's where I think
you can lick a cone.
You can't. Biting a cone just seems wrong.
I just lick a cone.
No, that's your microphone.
Oh.
That's not a cone. You're too hungry. But now, a cone, why would you bite? Okay, the scoop on the cone.
Yeah.
Why would you bite that?
People do that. That's what people are saying. People apparently are biting scoops.
But that's too much. That's wrong.
They don't savor it. They don't savor their ice cream.
Okay, that one though, it's okay, cones are fragile.
Okay.
Like cone,
True.
If you're biting something, you're putting force into it. There is a good chance you will break that fucking cone and make a mess. So, first of all, okay, here's another life hack. If you're getting a cone, get a waffle cone, one of the big ones, and then honestly, in that instance, eat it with a spoon. But if it is a instance where it is scoops on a cone, lick the ice cream as fast as possible. Do not bite it. But that means near the bottom, you can bite the cone, which has all the ice cream in it. That's life hack.
And then technically you are biting ice cream. If it's got ice cream at the bottom. You know what? Stuff like cones that are filled with ice cream, what are they? Like the drumsticks and shit?
Yeah.
That's technically biting ice cream.
You are technically biting the ice cream.
Because you have to bite through the shell, but you are biting through the ice cream in the process. See, the Sonic Twitter has just farmed us all for content. That's basically all that's happened. Really, the
Speaking
real
of
villain
Sonic,
here is the Sonic Twitter.
Before we get to tacos, Frontiers is actually starting to look pretty good.
I'm very happy with that. I
I'm-
was very afraid that they wouldn't utilize the movement of Sonic the Hedgehog in the gameplay, and apparently they are doing exactly that. Maybe not as much as I would hope, but it's in there. It's there.
Dude, the bar for me is a good game. Like that, it's a really low bar.
But that's what I mean. It's like
Yeah.
it would be a good game if it did those things. And if
Well,
it didn't
no.
do those things, it could still be a good game, but it
I
wouldn't
think-
be as good of a game.
I think
and
it would be a great
kinda
game
disappointed.
if they did those things.
I would be let down
Okay.
because I would want to play a Sonic open world game where everything was built around
Yep.
movement, especially in an open world game where movement is incredibly important. Like Sonic's like the best candidate for an open world game
Yep.
because of that. But we'll see.
Anyway, so tacos.
I'm excited.
I'm a bit confused in what you mean.
Okay,
So okay, this is the. All right, is that the taco
Imagine
from a
this-
side profile?
no, this is front facing, right? Imagine the arc is there. Imagine the arc is there for the
Now
hard
by
taco
by
shell.
front facing, am I seeing the shell?
Yes,
Okay.
it's the front of the shell,
Yep.
right? It's the wider side, right?
Okay.
Okay. I start here
Okay. All right. No, I get it. I agree.
and I work my way over.
Yep. You're right.
Because you want to get, because the taco is packed with ingredients and it's layered, right? You want to get as many of those ingredients together. Otherwise, you're not mixing them, which is the point. It's like a burger. Like
I
know
feel
when
like
you
if
eat
you
a
eat at the
burger,
bottom, you're crazy.
if you start at the bottom, you better be taking a huge bite, but also
Yeah.
that's just chaos energy. Like I totally get it. You're still going to get most of the ingredients if you take a big enough bite. But I mean, that's insane.
Yeah.
You know, unless you're like a little kid. Like when I was a kid, I would skip the top part of a taco entirely and I would just eat the bottom because I didn't
Also,
like
if you
lettuce.
Yeah. If you eat the top of it, you have there's a risk of like the bottom blowing out because like you have your shell like this. Sometimes
Yeah, like it's
if
like
enough
it loses its
pressure-
integrity.
Well, yeah, like sometimes if you put enough pressure on the top, it'll go like that, and then it'll
Yeah.
just like give out. Terrible.
Or the
idea.
ground beef will be too sopping at the bottom and
Yep.
it'll like crumble
Mhm.
through. Yeah, totally.
Like-
I feel like eating it from the top first is just sort of denying yourself the pleasures of the purpose of that item. It's like a burger. You stack ingredients and then you bite into all of them at once,
Yeah.
and that creates the flavor profile. It defeats the purpose of doing that in a taco if you are not trying to capture all of that together.
Do you like with hard shell tacos? I feel like
Yeah.
that's the only taco I can really get. That crunch is so important, but it comes with the downside of like the window in which that thing is like edible is so much shorter. Somehow.
Taco Bell, I'll eat the crunchy tacos almost exclusively.
Yeah.
Most other places I get tacos at, I'll do a soft shell taco. Because most
Okay.
other places do a soft shell taco that's actually been on the stovetop. So that it's not completely like Taco Bell doesn't
They
they
don't
don't
keep their
sear-
tortillas fresh.
they don't do that, but also they don't sear their soft shell tortillas long enough. So like a good soft shell taco actually can maintain the consistency, like the strength of a crunchy taco shell from Taco Bell. I
You ever
make
cook your
tacos
own?
at home.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was literally
So,
gonna
like-
say like, would this come across very poorly if I said I really want you to cook me tacos?
No, I'm not Mexican, so it's not offensive.
Okay. I didn't mean that to. Now you made it sound more offensive. You just,
Yeah, I did.
Why'd you do
this? No, yeah. I mean, yeah, I can. Like, you're just interested because we're talking about tacos.
Yeah.
It's fine.
Well,
Okay, I just happen to be Hispanic. It's okay.
yeah. Well, that's why I didn't know it was a Mexican thing.
so
I'm sorry
you,
I'm uncultured.
Well, it's more of a
I thought it was a general Hispanic thing.
it's like it's like a Texican thing. Like the way you see tacos is like a Texican thing. Like traditional tacos.
well,
are a
that's
little
what I'm
different.
looking for. Traditional, like actual, like.
Traditional a traditional taco. It's pretty much the same, but it's like they throw all kinds of shit on it. Yes, I can make you tacos. They're great.
Okay, cool.
They're awesome. So like you sear if you take a soft shell tortilla, right, and you put it on the stovetop, you don't even need to put it in a pan. You can just
Plop it
put
on
it on
there.
the stovetop.
Yep.
And then flip it for a little bit. when you fold it, it retains its shape, but it's still soft. So you get some crispiness from it, but it doesn't break apart in your hands like a crunchy shell taco does
and
sometimes.
the warmness of it, you can like, I feel like you can taste it.
Yes.
It's like,
so
like
it's
a blanket.
It's so good. It's so good. But yeah, so like what you really want, and actually credit to Buffalo Wild Wings for this of all places. They sell street tacos there. If you've never had street tacos at Buffalo Wild Wings, have them 4 times. You got to do it like 4 times because sometimes the guy that makes it, the guy that's in the back, he fucks it up.
Yeah.
And like sometimes they make a completely different. They have another thing called the Buffalito, and sometimes they make a Buffalito. It's a nightmare sometimes. But try them. Try a street taco. It's exactly what I'm talking about. They actually make. I think that's the best thing on their goddamn menu. They make one of the best street style tacos you could probably have. Like it's nothing special. It's not gonna blow your socks off. But it is something that will open your mind to what a fucking taco can taste like and what you can do with one and how a soft shell taco should actually look, as opposed to the sad thing Taco Bell gives you, which is like, and then it just kind of folds over and it's like a really sad tortilla.
See, like when people like compare Taco Bell to like authentic Mexican cuisine, it's like I feel like it's like a completely different thing. And not saying you're doing that.
It's so weird too because it's like Taco Bell has never called itself authentic Mexican food.
No.
Taco Bell, the founder of Taco Bell was like, no, I want to make Texican food.
Yeah.
Like I know I'm not making traditional Mexican food. Like he always knew he was doing something else entirely.
Say what you want about Taco Bell, but like out of all of the various fast food places, Taco Bell, you're fucking broke. You need to fill that stomach. Taco Bell has the best bang for your buck.
Nowadays it's more expensive, but I'll tell you what, it's still probably the cheapest thing.
No, absolutely.
I'm just saying though, when I was like 18, 19 years old, Taco Bell, a 3 crunchy taco combo with a Pepsi used to be $4.19.
It's still pretty cheap, dude.
It's still pretty cheap.
No, but like they have their $5 boxes and you can get like a couple items on that.
I get a family pack with my family. It comes with salsa queso for queso fundido, baked potato, and obviously a skillet with all the meat and poblanos. And so nice because you can customize how you want your tacos. It's usually cheap. Yep.
Dude,
how do I prepare a taco? I sear the tortilla on both sides. I put we have like a southwestern sauce that we use at our apartment, or we had because I don't live there anymore. And then I do one of 2 things. Sorry, no, I sear it, and then we have a vegan option and a non-vegan option. So the vegan option is we spread some hummus on the tortilla.
Ooh, dude, I've been getting big into hummus lately.
Instead of lettuce, we do arugula. We put chickpeas in place of the ground beef.
I love chickpeas.
And then we put some tomatoes over it, and
Dude,
that's our vegan option.
I was in DC at this one mall, and they sold like a falafel sandwich for $4. Dude,
we got to talk about Greek food because I had a lot of Greek food when I was in Orlando, and I had the world's best falafel at a place called Papa Sab's, and it's owned by some Greek dude, and he's the guy at the counter, and it's the greatest thing ever. And then
I got mine in a mall. But like what's really fucked up is the best tacos I have ever had to this date is unfortunately was made by a bunch of white teenagers at a food cart on a beach, and I've never found this food cart. The food truck ever. Dude, no, like my parents took me to the beach. It was like around high school graduation. Oh god, that was so long. Oh, that was almost 10 years ago. Anyway,
it's okay, you'll get over it.
I still have
all did. We all did.
But like I remember I went to this like food truck and I just got them because I was like, I'm hungry, we're at the beach, and I like these tacos made me cry. They were the best tacos I had ever had in my life. When my mom asked me, what do you want for your graduation present, one of them was like, drive me to that 30-minute away beach. I want me some tacos.
In the hopes that you would see it.
They were there. I think I've had them twice, and I've never found them since.
Damn.
It sucks.
What was I going to say? Oh.
Greek
a good
food?
taco is so special.
It really is.
But
Tacos, like, it's so easy to fuck up a taco.
Surprisingly, yes.
Like,
Surprisingly, yes. You can add bullshit to it and just completely trash it.
okay, this is important. Sour cream, yeah or nay?
I used to be nay. Something happened to me, and now I'm like all about it. I love putting it on my taco.
I'm still a nay.
I can go without. Like sometimes I prefer it. Like for instance, some Taco Bell's just like
The too much.
fucking sour cream.
I think that's one of the problems with sour cream
Yeah.
and mayonnaise, in my opinion, is that people use it as a filler, like as a replacement. There's
it's
like, oh,
the
this
worst
is
taste for it too.
yeah, and it's like this is the thing that this is like front bill. It's like an actor in a movie like who can't act but would be a really good character actor, and they're somehow the lead, and it's like they'd be really good like comedic comedy fucking comedy react comedy sidekick whatever. Like they'd be great as
The
a
comic
sidekick.
relief.
Comic relief. They'd be great as comic relief. Why are they up front? Like why are they lead man?
It's so weird too because it's like you could use the tacos has so many things in it, and it's like or anything that has mayonnaise too. Like there's so many other ingredients you can use as filler, like lettuce.
Yeah,
You could use tomatoes. You could do pickles. You could do onions, and then they go no. Let's use the fucking thing that makes people nauseous when they have too much of it by
Yeah.
itself.
And then we're gonna have that be most of it.
Yeah,
because here's the thing. I've had good mayonnaise.
Mm-hmm.
I've had good I've had good sour cream. If
Yeah.
it's just a little bit of it, just a tiny little amount of it, I think that could enhance whatever you're doing.
Yeah.
But so
Correct.
often they just fucking shove it in there. It's like most of it. It's just overwhelming and it's just bleh.
Yeah, no. So like if you do sour cream, you just do a little dollop
Well, that's the thing
and then
though.
you spread it.
If they feel the need to do it, I'd be like, put that shit on the side. I don't want it. Like I don't trust you to not fill it.
I will say this: you should totally try it on the side and in smaller amounts. Like if you get it on the side, just dip your taco into it.
There's
Just use it
better
as a-
things to dip it though.
But just think of it like a dipping sauce, and then try it, and then realize that when it mixes with other sauces, it tastes really
I'm about that
good.
with ranch. Like I wasn't big into ranch, and then I started dipping pizza into it, and dude, like
I get you.
you get it.
I see you.
I'm glad you get it. Like
I see you.
something
It's
about
good.
something about the way that ranch combines with the tomato sauce and the pepperoni and the cheese. It's just like all of this together. The way
It's good.
comes together.
That's why people dip their mozzarella sticks in ranch.
Yeah. It's like that kind. It's like it just comes together like this. It's like this, and it's like I can't eat pizza without ranch now. It's like actually a thing where it's like I
Yeah, I
need.
get you. I was like that with garlic sauce. I couldn't
used
eat
to be
pizza
like
without
that.
garlic.
But then I realized that garlic sauce is like, I'm not saying ranch is healthy. Garlic sauce is like the worst. What do you think about buffets? They're fine. Honestly, with the way I eat now, like I diet, I eat
Have you
smaller
been to a lot of
portions.
buffets?
I've been to quite many buffets.
Same.
A lot.
I've been to a lot of different kinds of varying price tags.
Yeah. There's one buffet that I really like still, and whenever I go there, I don't even get it for the buffet part. I get it because they have like a hibachi like bar, and they have the best hibachi I've ever had in my life.
I have certain problems with some buffets. Let's talk about the bad ones. Golden Corral. That's a bad buffet.
I have been to many Golden Corrals when I worked at Cold Stone, and that's where we'd have company meetings. But it was never necessarily like a positive company meeting. So whenever we were invited to Golden Corral at like 8 a.m. before they opened the store, we
You
could be
knew.
like, well, we have free breakfast, but this could go badly.
Also, they took you at the cheapest hour of the day.
Yep, I believe it.
What a bunch of fuckers. Because
That place
breakfast is cheap.
sucked. That place
Golden Corrals
sucked.
suck. You know that friend I told you about with the story about the books?
Yeah,
He doesn't like going into Golden Corral.
he likes taking
He-
out.
He's super nice. He's super flexible. Anywhere we want to go eat, he's cool with trying it out. He will flat out say no to Golden Corral.
I mean, smart.
If you ask him why, he says, I went on a field trip in high school once. And I stood there in the middle of the Golden Corral and I looked around and I saw people fighting over the bistro line. And I saw kids running around and throwing food. And I saw people eating way too much food and leaving it on the tables. And I thought, oh my God, this is why the terrorists hate us. And that is why we never go to Golden Corral.
You know what? Where's the lie?
No, I don't like most buffets.
Mm.
I do like Sweet Tomato. Have you ever been to a Sweet Tomato?
I don't think we have any.
It's a healthy buffet where it's mostly just salad. They're all closed down now because COVID happened, and you can't have a salad bar with COVID for the obvious reasons. So like Sweet Tomato was a place where it's like all salad. It was soups.
I feel
bread,
like that's
soup, and salad.
Oh, that's the ideal buffet.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's all it was. That's what they specialized in. And they had pizza, but it was like flatbread. It was like very fine, very like not heavy stuff. It was great. I loved it. They had apples there. I would just eat the basket.
Now, when you're a kid, I think buffets are great in being like, it's like, oh, you get to try all this cool stuff.
As a kid, it's great because you're like, I could try this, I could try that, I could go for this. Yeah.
Also, the MVP Chinese donuts. I could only ever find those at a buffet.
Then there's the Chinese buffets, which are really cool. How many Chinese buffets have you gone to?
Dude, I can't count.
Yeah.
You
know what's crazy about that?
Probably not great. What?
That's what I was going to say is there's some that are really good, and then there's some where I remember I saw the bugs in the food. And I went, I'm not hungry anymore. And that's not a knock about Chinese buffets in general. There's just in the area I live in.
Well, it's just one of those things that end up where it's like most buffets are Chinese buffets.
Yeah.
That's just
and it's
how
like
it is.
and in general, the reason I don't like going to buffets is because buffets aren't the cleanest of places.
Yeah.
If you think of like really it's just a matter of fact, like hundreds of people go in there.
It's just
everyone's touching the food.
Yep.
Yeah. Everyone's touching the food.
You have to make so much of it. You just have to.
Everything's out in the open and it's just left out there. But the buffets that are real good.
Oh, dude, if you're ever in the area, I gotta remind me. I'll take you to this buffet. The place I was talking about that had the best hibachi of my fucking life. Life changing. Like I literally will bring people there. It's like, you see all this around you, all of this. You can get that if you want. That's not why we are here. We are here for the endless hibachi. We are here for the. We keep bringing our plates to the man, and we have him make our hibachi. This is why we come here. Like, when
that's the other thing. I forgot the other thing. All you can eat hibachi grill places, like Japanese barbecue, Korean barbecue places. Those are great. Huh?
The one where they cook it all in front of you and you sit around?
No. Sorry, that's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the actual buffets that you order the meats and grill them in front of you, and you do the grilling. Oh. Those are really good. Those are great. For the reason that no one's touching all the fucking food.
Yep.
And it's just, they keep it in the freezer, and then you make it yourself, and then you fucking eat it.
Yeah.
And if you want, like, accoutrement, they get it from the kitchen. That's the best. It's the healthy, like, it's the most food safe shit you could do as far as buffets go.
I haven't been to a buffet in so long.
The only problem is that they're expensive.
Yeah, no, and that's the thing though. Me today, one of the problems why I never get a buffet is my wonderful, beautiful, amazing, incredible girlfriend is she's not a heavy eater. She's a light eater. And honestly, she's right for that. I have had to lower, like, just so I could maintain my weight, I've had to lower my portion sizes. Portion control sucks shit. I hate it, but I have been eating less. Not lately, I've been very stressed, so I eat more. But my point is, buffets, you take her to a buffet, unless it's for a real special occasion like that hibachi place, you're basically you're burning money.
Yeah.
You could
same thing with me and my partner. It's like if we go to a buffet, I better eat most of it.
Yeah, and you at that point you might as well go to a restaurant where you can get a personalized meal. And like, because every time we go out to dinner, me and her split something. Rarely do we get our own thing.
Oh, I get my own thing, but yeah, no, I get it.
Because she's frugal.
But I get my own thing because I want to bring home leftovers and eat it later.
That's smart.
Otherwise, yeah, I wouldn't finish it, so we would be able to split it.
Yeah. Sometime like, dude. Yeah, if you're ever in the area, I gotta like show you to like all of my 2 restaurants in which I love. I go constantly to 2 restaurants.
If you ever come visit me, we gotta drive up to Orlando so I can show you all the places that are worth eating at, because there ain't shit down here.
I'm gonna get haunted by my grandparents' ghost if I go to Florida.
Why?
I got it. Well, because my grandparents lived in Florida.
Bitch, you won't get haunted by your grandparents. You'll get haunted by one of the paintings in this house. I showed Cullen my parents' like living room, and there are like 50 paintings on the wall, and they all have the eyes that follow you.
Yeah. He has like 2 pianos in which all of them lead to separate Resident Evil puzzles.
I do have a grand piano. If you activate them
at the same time, you will meet in the middle in a giant coliseum and fight to the death against Gorgon the Impossible.
I am afraid of adjusting a picture frame and the fireplace like door falling over, revealing like a passage to a basement.
Like a laboratory.
Yeah. Like, oh shit, what is this? And then I get killed. Yeah. I like accidentally release Lisa Trevor into the halls of my fucking house.
I feel like if you just cook her a good meal.
Lisa Trevor just needed like a hug.
Yeah. She was hungry. Just feed her. Easy. There's no kitchen in that mansion, I don't think.
There is.
Oh, well, I don't know.
Yeah, it's like at the beginning. It's like at the beginning before you go to like the back of the mansion and you see all the crappy shit.
I think you've actually played more Resident Evil 1 than I have.
No, I watched a lot of Let's Plays though.
I haven't.
Too afraid to play it. It's too scared, so I just watched the Let's Plays.
Fair enough. GC.
Oh man. Yeah.
You ready to wind down?
Yeah, sure. We can do that.
Cool. I guess oh no, wait, recording is 2 hours 46 minutes.
That's good.
We could just like, yeah, let's just wind down.
Yeah.
3 hours max. I guess just we didn't get to all of our stories, but I think we had fun.
We talked about some cool, important stuff, and we went on tangents that were related to things and were still important conversations.
Well, the thing was there was no news. There's no like real news.
No. You know, we talked about that, and that was that.
So, I think the first thing to talk about in regards to just like the podcast is I don't want to set a like we need to do it every day or every week on Wednesday at this time. Probably be smarter, but you know, life.
Do you want to like anchor it so that we can work around a certain time every week?
Wednesday is definitely the day, I think.
Hump day
of the week.
Mm-hmm.
Because Tuesday and Thursday I hang up with the girlfriend.
Right.
I'd say we could maybe just do like 2 a month. We don't need to do every week. Let's aim for 2 a month. See where it goes.
Yeah.
We're not. There's a reason why we cut the weekly.
We both ended up getting full-time jobs. And I couldn't get the days off, and neither could Cullen.
No.
And we are tired.
So most of the time we do it, it'll be 7 p.m. on a Wednesday night, Eastern Standard Time. And the VODs will be going up on the... Dude, I'll be honest. I forgot the name of the VOD channel.
Oh, I got you.
And I don't know if I can log back in. It'll...
Oh, shit. Well, then it'll just be on whatever channel you can log into.
Yeah, but I think I'll be able to log. If you're watching,
it's called VIBECAST VODs.
VIBECAST VODs. There we go. Subscribe if you want to know more. The stream will be streams. We're doing this live. Hopefully every other week, Wednesday. But if you'd like to see our more creative endeavors, GC, I hear you're working on some stuff.
I am. I'm working on 12 videos. It's a big video project, 2 mini series in there, and then a Yakuza video, and then an editorial.
What's your total? Like, what's your percentage complete right now? You think? Rough estimate.
I am 4 out of 12 done. I actually don't. That's not a rough estimate. That's a, that's a fact.
Hell
I'm
yeah.
4 out of 12 done. I was getting my internet fixed so that I've been streaming the Paper Mario series because I need to play the first 3 games in order to get footage for the 5th video. So that's what I've been doing, but I had to stop because I've been moving.
Yeah.
That's a process. This is all a new space. This took me like
Looks great.
took me like 2 weeks, but then I got horribly sick and I had a horrible allergic reaction for a week from my meds, and I couldn't do anything because everything was pain. But it's done now, and I got the internet fixed today, and we're gonna be picking that up pretty soon, and then I'm gonna try to get all those videos done in the next 2 months. Please look forward to it. Needless to say, I'm putting a lot of work into them. Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you, Cullen?
I have not publicly announced this at anywhere specific. So if you're watching this stream, or you're watching the VOD, so I've got 2 videos. My plan for the rest of the year is 6 videos. Because the goal for the year in terms of content was a video a month. Obviously, for life reasons, that could not happen. But 12 videos in a year still technically counts. So what I'm doing is this is the plan at the moment. Going forward, I am not promising anything. Shit happens, and I know that firsthand. So originally the next 3 videos are going to be Rune Factory 5, Metal Max Xeno Reborn, and Chaos Head Noah, a Why You Should Care video on Chaos Head Noah. Why You Should Care is coming back, probably bigger next year. Then I realized, okay, I should bump Chaos Head up to September. That was going to be the October video, because for a different website, I am on the docket to review that. Now, if I'm making my video is based off of the Japanese version of the game, because I wanted it to be clear. It's like, hey guys, so like this video that's informing you why you should or should not buy this game is not, a publisher did not send me this code. But if I release this video after, like, around launch, when I have already been playing the English version of the game, that might look weird. So I was like, I'll just make this video purely, it's just based off of research and using Japanese footage, and that'll be cool.
And then you can say I might have a review in the future that's supplied, where I was supplied a code that did not influence my opinion right now.
There's no gray areas, pretty much.
Right.
It's just, so I am actually already, it's a short, by the way, the next 3 videos are all short. Like
nice.
I'm trying to just make content. I'm just trying to, like, these 3 videos, I call this my obligation era. I gotta just knock some stuff off my backlog and start working on some really cool stuff. But so Chaos Head video is halfway done with writing already. Like, blasted through half of that last night, and I'm gonna probably do the rest tonight after I'm done playing DDS. So Chaos Head will probably be soon, like very soon. I'm giving myself a deadline of September 15th. The other video this month that's coming out is Rune Factory 5. I got review codes for Rune Factory 5 and Metal Max Xeno. They are very late in terms of my coverage. I realized these are games that are good or feel like that are very neat, but I don't have a lot to say about. Like, I just don't.
Okay.
Like, Rune Factory. Have you played Rune Factory before? You know anything about Rune Factory?
Yes, I have played some Rune Factory.
I think they are great games that appeal very much to the niche of fan that, like, are Rune Factory fans. Like, people who like those games, they fucking love them.
It's people. It's the Harvest Moon crowd.
Yeah.
But if they like other gameplay genres in their Harvest Moon game.
Yeah, and like, I can look at Rune Factory and say, this is a good game. I just don't have a lot to say. Like, I just, I think it's great. I think it's a lot of fun. That's it. So I'm going to make a little sub-series called This Game is Neat. Where it's going to be like, just casually talking about how Rune Factory 5, it's still going to be fully edited, script written, and all that,
Right,
but it'll just be a bit more. It's like, hey, this is probably like 5 to 10 minutes long, being like, hey, I'm reviewing Rune Factory 5. It's a very neat game. I had fun. I don't have much to say, but you'll probably like it if you're this kind of person or whatever. So those two videos planned in September. I'm commissioning a friend to edit the Rune Factory video. Shibuya Gato on Twitter. She's great. We're figuring out how to do all that stuff just so it gives me more time to work on my own things. And then I might have her work on Metal Max as well. Who knows? Metal Max will be October. And then starting in October, I will be planning my last 2 videos of the year, which are Jack 2 and Chrono Cross Part 3.
Ooh.
Because I was waiting for months and months and months for Square Enix to fix the remaster, and they didn't, which means I'm going in.
Okay.
Now, you might be saying, Cullen, that's 5 videos. And it's that I have a Vagrant Story video that is completely recorded and has all the footage and is sent out to an editor, and that'll be out when it's out. I cannot speak too much on that because a lot of it is not for me to say. But randomly, sometime between now and the end of the year, probably there will be a Vagrant Story video. If not, I'll probably talk to someone
You're not
else.
worried about it.
Yeah, I'm not worried. If
you know, it'll be done when it's done, and if you wanted to get it done faster, you'll deal with it.
Yeah, if it comes down to it, I'll either edit it myself if I have time, or
hire a
someone
different
else.
person.
Yeah. So I think next year I'm going to be, one of the things I want to do for next year is, again, every year I try to like reduce the amount of like review games I cover just to cover just more things on the channel, and I'm going to reduce that even further next year and just keep it to the stuff like Soul Hackers 2, which is so in my wheelhouse that I have a lot to say.
Yeah, you're gonna stick to your wheelhouse.
Yeah, for review games, because it's like I thought I'd have a lot to say about Rune Factory, and I didn't. I tried. The reason why the video is so delayed is that I kept trying, and I tried
like a stronger
where it's like I was waiting for the thing to fucking grab me and just be like, yeah, and it just didn't happen. So I'm like, hey guys, this is my coverage. I think this game's rules and you'll probably love it. I just thought it was cool. Nothing wrong with that. Only video I really have planned for next year is, because I plan this shit out. Only difference between us is that I'm trying to do it on the fly and I just said it all. But
yeah,
I have
my methods are extreme.
No, it'll be worth it when you get all this this coverage out. Are you gonna do it bi-weekly, or are you gonna do it a video?
Tri-weekly.
Tri-weekly?
Wait, it's every 3 weeks.
Okay.
I'm doing it every 3 weeks, and that'll give me
buffer time.
Yeah, I think it gives me like 40 something weeks to just have. I'll always have content on the pipeline going out.
Yeah.
And then if they have to wait 2 months for me to put out more, then so be it. But by then I'll have everything.
Yeah,
for
that's
the next
the smart
year
thing to do. I just can't, like, on my end, I can't afford to, like,
right
with my work schedule. I am in such need of instant gratification.
Yeah. No, it's been tough, honestly. Like the lack of instant gratification of like just having it out and going,
oh yeah, I imagine.
You know,
but when this
like
shit goes
it's been
up,
weird.
It's gonna be so sick. I can't wait.
Oh, when it's all done and scheduled, and I just have a bunch of unlisted shit just sitting there waiting to go public. I'm just gonna be like, you know, I haven't decided yet if I'm gonna let the patrons have access to all of it at once.
I think you should.
I think I'm thinking about it.
What you should do is what you should do is, when it's all up and ready, then you put out the first video, and then you say, hey, for patrons, we have or like give them, or no, okay, so this is a good idea. So you have your first video and say, oh,
you're fine, don't worry about it.
All right, patrons. So here's the thing. All of these videos are made. If you pledge the Patreon, you get to see the video that comes out in 3 weeks from now, which will prevent someone from going in, grabbing all your video. Like, just, I don't think that's gonna happen. I'm saying. But it, like, you can never be too careful. So
I'm worried about that.
Is you piecemeal it out, but patrons who pledge, they will like they get the video that comes out 3 weeks from now. So they're
so
patrons are a
they're
video
always
ahead.
one video ahead. Yeah.
Yep. I think that's a really smart way to do it.
I like that. It's like I'm gonna give you access to this one that comes out today for the first one, and then when that one goes up, I'm gonna go, hey, guess what? The one that's coming out 3 weeks from now, it's up on Patreon.
Yep. And you just film a little live action bit to tack on to the end of your first video that just explains that.
And then from here on out.
Or you could like make it uniform.
I was gonna do a trailer for the whole thing.
You start with that too, but I'd say keep the Patreon stuff out of the trailer.
Right.
And then just have at the end of almost all of the videos be like, hey, if you like this, there's more in this season of GC Positive available now on Patreon. If you would like to see the next video that comes out a few weeks from now, you can right now.
Yeah. I like it.
So big content on the way. Content boys are back.
I am back. We didn't go into it. Maybe we'll go into it next time. But I don't live where I did anymore, and I am once again unemployed.
Unemployment is when you get at your own, it's like the most creative.
I'm a 30-year-old unemployed, balding, fat guy.
You're not balding and you're not fat.
Fair enough.
You are unemployed though. I'm not gonna show you that part.
It's okay. We'll get these videos done and then I'll worry about it.
Yeah.
This will be my blow up.
I can't wait. Oh, yeah. But as always, thank you all so much for tuning in. We hope this will encourage us to be a bit more productive in general. This 3-hour podcast that takes up a night, we could be working on things, but they're fun.
They are fun. They're a good excuse for us to stop working for a second.
Honestly, yes. Yeah. And still be productive. That's just streaming though.
Yeah, but it's nice. I actually do treat these like breaks.
I mean, yeah.
Because I'm just talking to my best friend Cullen, you
Aww.
know?
But we're gonna try to buff up the production quality of the podcast. These are all gonna go up on the VOD channel. Follow us on Twitter, various things. Subscribe to our channels. It'll all be in the link to the description. And
you'll see them.
I'll link to our Patreons as well. Fuck it.
Sure, yeah, link to our Patreons. Fuck it.
Like on GC's end, you'll probably get 3-week early access, and on my end, you'll get 3-day early access because I make these in a fucking fugue state.
I hope you like being edged, because that's what my upload schedule is like.
And to sign off, I will bite this ice cream.
You're gonna hate it.
No.
You're gonna hate it.
Oh!